Welcome to Abu Dhabi, Fahid Island, everybody, for your Surf 4 World Tour, E4 and Wakefoil World Cups. Look at this location. This event presented by Aldar. We're going to be starting off with our E4 time trials. Engines are revving, athletes are ready. I'm Josie Asher. Let's go to the booth with Ben and Liam.
Hello everyone, welcome along to the Watersports Festival here in Fahid Island, Abu Dhabi, for the final weekend of action for the e-foiling SFT World Tour. My name is Ben Constanduris, and alongside me for what is going to end up being 9 days worth of action here across various different disciplines, we've got Liam Dredge. Liam, it is a beautiful view out of our window. It's going to be a beautiful day's worth of action. Perfect conditions for e-foiling.
Yeah, it's perfect out there. I mean, the sun is shining. It's like crystal clear, butter flat water out there. So riders out there at the moment just getting used to the course. You can see them all sort of zipping around, and really exciting event because we've got plenty of participants here. The highest number we've actually seen for the E4 discipline on SFT.
SFT e-foiling is a new discipline for 2025. They have had events over in America already this year. So in total, they've had 5 events, 2 in America, 2 in Italy, and the French event in Le Cat. Each different event scores a different amount of points depending on the prize money, but also the amount of participants. And because we have a €10,000 prize pot, we have the most participants here. We've actually got quite a few participants based out here in the Middle East.
Yeah, no, it's great to see them. As you can see, some of the riders here on the beach. And worth noting as well, we will be crowning our world champion here in Abu Dhabi. So there's so much at stake with, like you said, all these riders coming to Abu Dhabi. You can see here with the drone, this is sort of our event setup, and really, really pleased with how it's actually looking and shaping up.
Huge thanks to Aldar Property Developments, who is our major partner for the weekend, alongside Fahid Island, which is just off Yas Island, obviously probably the better known area of Abu Dhabi. Yas Island with its Warner Brothers hotel and playground. It's got a water world, it's got Ferrari World as well, and of course the F1 racetrack. And we are literally one island further on from there. It's just a tunnel, basically, which throws us onto this island. And in a few years' time, Liam, this place will be very, very different to how it is right now.
Yeah, I mean, we've got it's a bit of an action-packed week, actually, here in Abu Dhabi. They've got a huge UFC fight tonight and all sorts of action going on throughout the week. But we're here, and the main focus right now is E4. But there's plenty of other disciplines that we'll be covering throughout the next 9 days. We've got the hydrofoil big air on the GKA side, along with freestyle. And then we've also got the wake on the SFT. And also seeing our GWA, our wingfoil athletes come for some slalom racing. So hoping for a week of action-packed competition with, fingers crossed, some hopeful good conditions.
Yeah, and the conditions are looking okay. There is a few days where we're expecting over 10 knots of wind. The weekend, not so. It's one of the quieter days today, but we are expecting wind early part of next week, and of course, you can't tell, but latter half of the week as well, the first, second, the final days are expecting to blow up a little bit as well.
You can see a couple of our riders. There's Justin Chay. I believe he's number 1 at the moment on the E4 rankings. So looking to add another title here and potentially look at crowning that world championship. So I would say Justin pretty much is the man to beat when it comes to the racing out there today.
Yeah, absolutely. I was lucky enough to share a transfer with him to the venue this morning. So got a full lowdown of 15 minutes worth of detail from Justin, and kind of effectively his protege, although I'm not sure he would like to be called that, Jacob Rainey, who is second to Justin in our rankings, and basically met Justin and got the bug of e-foiling thanks to Justin. They're both from Florida, both from Naples, Miami, and it's because of Justin that Jacob does it. And now Jacob is just starting to challenge Justin at the head of rankings across all the various disciplines of e-foiling.
Wonder what happens to that friendship if it gets a little bit tight at the
well,
top there.
Interestingly, the excuses already came out in the bus, which was, there he is actually, there is Jacob Rainey. My mast isn't as long as his, my motor isn't as powerful as his. Those were the two, and my kit isn't as expensive.
Well, there you go.
That's the excuses you're going to be hearing across the day's worth of action.
And if you're just tuning in, if you've just seen, it's the first time we've actually covered e-foil on the live as well with the SFT. So let's give a bit of a background in regards to like what is e-foiling. So I mean, you can see they're foiling on these boards which are powered by electric propulsion units. They've obviously all got their battery as well in the board, and the boards can be in various different sizes, but you'll see that most of the riders here will be riding small boards, small front wings on their foils, and going really fast around the course that we've got planned for them.
Actually, we've got our beach camera down there just showing us some of the athletes, but actually what I'd like him to do is swing round, because there are some boards obviously on the shoreline, and that gives us a really good indication of view of what is happening underwater. Of course, when we see them out on the water, we don't see the foil and we don't see the motor, but when they are on the beach, we do. And I don't know whether the director has heard me. I can see the movement of the camera.
It's happening, Ben. It's happening.
I think it is. There we go. In a few seconds' time, we will get a chance to see exactly what a board. So there's a manta foil, and there is the motor on the end of it. Yeah,
you can see there. So it connects via Bluetooth with the hand controller that they've got in their hand, which they're from there with the trigger. They can vary the different types of speeds, and different boards obviously have different shapes as well. You've got the flight boards. You've also got the lift boards as well out there. There's the unit at the back, that's a fixed propeller. So most of them will ride the fixed propeller because it gives you a bit more grunt. There are folding props as well, but they tend to be used on more like wave riding when you can let the power go. So there's also jet engines, but most of these riders, if not all, you will see riding a fixed prop.
Now, in the last event in Lake Garda, we had a foil drive category. Is that a different design, or is that just a different brand?
It's a different brand and a slightly different design as well, because the foil drive is an accessory that you can have on maybe a current setup.
Okay.
So if someone is into foiling anyway, let's say they're into their pump foiling or their prone foiling, and then they want to have that accessory which enables them to maybe catch a few waves and give them it's technically the foil assist, and they can place it at any point on their mast. It's battery powered, and from there it's a very similar setup with a control, but the e-foil is sort of that all-in-one package where the foil drive you can have it on something that's maybe you've had for, let's say, a few years.
There is a lot of water around Abu Dhabi. There's not a lot of depth to the water, but there is a lot of water. That's why they've been able in this area to be able to build upon so much of the land around the area, because it doesn't take a lot to build the land out of the water and then start building buildings upon it. There is that trigger that Liam was talking about in his right hand. Yeah,
that's Manel. He rides for lift. You can see here just changing his back wing. So different setups they can choose. They can choose smaller, bigger front wings. They can choose, have different length in the fuselage and change the stabilizer. Maybe they have a stabilizer which enables them to carve a little bit more. Maybe one that's a bit more sort of flat, which is good for sort of more pumping. But today's all about speed. Going around that course, getting a good time, and qualifying for the next part of this e-foil.
You see very different looking motor on the back of that Manta.
Yeah, and an aluminium mast as well, so a little bit heavier than maybe the carbon ones that we've seen. So probably means, that might sacrifice a little bit of speed.
Yeah, kit is a big thing, isn't it, in the world of foiling, and e-foiling probably more so. We're talking, what, 15 to 20,000 US dollars for a full setup?
Yeah, and it varies as well. You can get different setups which, you can customize those setups to really go on the performance side of things. You've got your aluminium entry-level setups, but I would say pretty much, if not the most of the riders here, riding carbon boards, carbon masts, full carbon setup. We want to get nice and light. Small front wings we're going to see, because the bigger the front wing, if you're going at speed, that foil will want to breach out the water. So it's just finding the balance between knowing how far they can actually push themselves and also the limitations on their setup.
Right, so we have just been told that we've got a delay in proceedings. So we were supposed to be starting at 11 o'clock. We are not going to be starting at 11 o'clock. It looks as though more likely to be 11:30. Perhaps a slight delay in setting up by the looks of things from the committee boat. So we're going to take a quick break, but don't go away, because in about 20 minutes' time, we will get our time trials underway.
Welcome to Abu Dhabi Fahid Island, everybody, for your Surf for World Tour, E4 and Wakefield World Cups. Look at this location. This event presented by Aldar. We're going to be starting off with our E4 time trials. Engines are revving, athletes are ready. I'm Josie Asher. Let's go to the booth with Ben and Liam.
Hello everyone, welcome along to the Watersports Festival here and Fahid Island in Abu Dhabi. We have a 9-day festival of watersports action for you, and we're going to keep kicking off today with SFT e-foiling. My name is Ben Costin-Juris, alongside me Liam Dredge for the first time, and 9 days of competition across 5 different disciplines with kites in the air, with wings in the arm, but today it's just a trigger in the hand.
It is, yeah. The focus is starting on E4, and as you mentioned, you know, there's so much at stake. We've got a busy week ahead, and going to be crowning world champions in the E4 division as well. It's been a busy year for them. They've had multiple events across Europe, and now here we are in Abu Dhabi, finalizing the E4 SFT World Tour. And you can see drone in the sky, beautiful event site. The sun is shining, the water is mirror flat, so it's pretty much perfect conditions for racing.
Big thanks to Aldar Property Developments, who is our major partner for this 9-day festival held here on Fahid Kite Beach, and it will be very different over the next couple of years as this area continues to develop. We're just 15 minutes away from Yas Island, which is obviously famous for Ferrari World, for Warner Brothers World, and the Formula One racetrack of Abu Dhabi, which holds the Formula One finals in December. But there's so much going on, Liam. Even this weekend, it's a real hive of activity, Abu Dhabi as a place. Yeah, they've got the UFC Heavyweight Championship going on tonight in the Etihad Arena. They've got the Longboard Championships, the WSL, taking place at the Surf Ranch, the Kelly Slater Surf Ranch, which is about 15-20 minutes away from where we are located. So, you know, it's an action-packed place. There's always something going on here. As you mentioned, the Formula One is happening next month. But the full focus right now goes on to the E4 discipline, and you can see here our first rider is out on the water. Just a short moment ago, they were all getting to grips with the course and getting a bit of an understanding of how it's going to feel and be out there. They will be going extremely fast, and you can see the thumbs up there from our first rider of Witold coming out of Poland. Yeah, so he is a local to Dubai, and he is going to be going, looks like he's already going straight down to the first mark. So this is a time trial. They're going to get 2 timed laps, going to be interrupted in the middle by a half-lap break. But this will give us an opportunity to see the course for these foilers. Oh, and he's down in the water already. The pace didn't look quite as strong as we've seen in practice. He's actually been developing this Manta e-foiling technology in Dubai. And there's a lot of athletes choosing this particular foil. You are allowed to fall in twice, but you're not allowed to fall in 3 times, according to the regulations that I was reading up earlier on today. Yeah, just like, but I mean, you hit the nail on the head there, Ben. Lacking a little bit of speed around that turn and just trying to push it a little bit too much. You can see here, ideally when you're racing here, you want to be up on that foil. You know, you can see his body weight is very much far forward as well. The faster you go, the more the foil wants to breach out. But all these riders are going to be on different setups. There's different brands here. Each setup customizable to what the rider wants. You know, different foils, different mast lengths, different size boards, different literage. So, you know, we'll touch base on the equipment a little bit more once we see these riders, you know, experiment with different setups. The technique and the ideal is stability through the water. You don't want the board to be going up and down too much because that will slow you down. And of course, you don't want the board to be touching the water because that really does slow you down. And that will also potentially cause you to fall off the board. Try not to travel too much distance. Quite sweeping turns here, which you need, but the more direct you can be, the shorter you will travel, and therefore the faster you will be. But Witold having a few struggles here on his first lap. He will then finish this first lap and go again. So we were thinking the lap was going to be about a minute long. Yeah, we're seeing here just shy of 2 minutes now for Witold, the time on the top right-hand side of your screen. But yeah, there'll be a flying start as well, so he'll then get that 30-second period where he'll be able to come back around the start line and go again. And you can see there the green light, 1:59, just under 2 minutes
for his first lap Witold. So you'll see he'll make his way back around towards the start and cross the line straight away for his lap number 2. Replay showing a couple of the turns here. You can see just, when he's not out the water, carving in that rail, loses all the speed. Crashing a couple of times there on his lap.
So that was 1:59.890 was his first lap, but with 2 dismounts.
Yep.
He will now go again. Usually give a thumbs up to the committee boat, which is positioned on the pontoon, and then head for that flying start once more. Trying to keep the foil in a similar position and the board in a similar position is the real challenge of foiling generally. But of course, when you're being propelled by a little motor, you can see some of them there on the beach.
Yeah.
It becomes more of a challenge. In the crouch position, aerodynamic, wait as far forward as he possibly can to keep everything flat. That's great in a straight line. Then he's got to get around that first turn.
And it can be quite tough for them as well, because the triggers can be quite sensitive. So when they're wanting to back off on the pace a little bit, it's just finding that sweet spot between keeping the pace around these turns and also still wanting to go fast and not go too wide and lose time.
So trigger in his right hand, connected Bluetooth to an electric motor. Of course, you do not want the foil to breach. That is absolutely disastrous. But he's doing much better job here. He's got past the first half of the course, now coming back towards the beach, which will dictate the first half covered. We will see head-to-head races later on today. So to establish who goes head-to-head with who, we have this time trial section. We've got 26 athletes in total across the various different divisions.
Yep.
Female and male, with I think 5 females I counted.
Yeah, worth noting as well, that's the most that we've ever had on the SFT for registered. So really, really positive numbers going into this event.
And that means the prize points are better than ever. And of course, the prize money is very strong, with 10,000 euros on offer across the category. We're hoping at least to do the time trials today, but with the very flat water and not a lot of wind, we may actually complete the competition today. A full mounted run for Witold Abramowicz comes towards the line, and that's a more competitive time of the clock's
1:31. Nearly knocked 30 seconds there off his time. So that goes to show how much time those crashes can add. So 1:32 there for Witold. He'll be pleased with that one, keeping a nice clean lap. Quick rider up next, actually. Manel Arpa coming out of Spain, riding for Lyft. He is one to potentially look at giving Justin Chait a run for his money. Justin Chait, the current leader in the rankings, so he is up there wanting that world title, riding for Flight. And he'll be up in 5 or 6 riders' time. But you can see here, Manel on the Lyft X48. So the Lyft X coming in 3 sizes, the smallest being a 4.3, the biggest being a 5.2. So he's running it on the middle size. You can see this one.
That's a middle size of what? The foil?
No, the board, sorry.
The board, okay.
Yeah. And you can see the shape as well on this board, a little bit different. It's more sort of designed for, sort of riding out in the waves and the swell, but also what we found is it's really actually good for racing. So Manel here is using the Lyft X.
Foiling is a highly technical discipline. So. Adding an E element as he comes towards the line to get going, so much more speed across the beach down towards the first mark. Adding the E element does add an extra element of technical, much tighter to that first mark, but because he's carrying more speed, he's actually creating more distance traveled, but does look much more stable on the board. Even with more speed, Manel is doing a better job here than Witold we just saw. Yeah,
and also with this board, he's riding with a smaller battery, and the board is generally smaller, so there's less weight as well on his setup. It's a full carbon setup, opposed to, I believe, the Manta, where the mast was aluminium. So, he's got a good setup here, Manel, to get a quick time, and he's had a really good start here, just coming up to 40 seconds in the halfway point of this lap.
1:31.9 is the target time of Witold, our first athlete in the water, but he had 2 dismounts on his first run. Now, just got to remember where the course goes.
Nice
this is better. so stable in the water. That means there's no resistance really across the foil or any of the moving parts. And he's kept it out of the water for the full run towards the line then.
Absolutely flying.
Wow, comes across the beach and stops the clock at a 1:09.9.
Quick, very quick there from Manel. So beating, what was the previous time? About 1:32, wasn't it, I believe, from 1:31. So, and still with a lap to go for Manel to try and better that time. Speed on the straights was really nice. So looking to try and make up a few seconds on the turns.
Yeah, so there's a compromise in there between carrying speed and being more direct. Because it seems as though the faster you go, the wider your turns have to be.
But I think what we'll find now is Manel, he's got a good time there. Maybe he'll just push it that little bit more, having a good time, being able to maybe make some tighter turns now, knowing that, if he does fall, he does have that 1:09 to back him up. But here we go, second lap.
So the course mirrors each other with a hairpin right, hairpin left, hairpin right, and then it opens out furthest away from the beach we are, cuts back towards the beach with this yellow marker. He's nice and tight to that. Don't worry too much about the sweeping turns in this part of the course because you're not really compromising your distance traveled. It is at the end and at the start where you've got those big hairpins that perhaps you want to be traveling a little bit less distance. Comes down towards the end of this lap. 1:09.9 was the time to beat from him on his first lap.
He's looking quick.
Smooth, isn't he? Just
losing a little bit of speed there, but managed to keep it together. Coming around now to the final turn. And it's going to be tight alongside the first time he got. Okay, finger on the trigger. Here we go. Coming across the finish line. What's that time going to clock in at? I believe maybe just, very similar.
Oh, just 0.4 of a second faster than he was on his first lap. So a slight improvement for Manel Arpa from Spain, 29-year-old. And he is our fastest athlete for the moment.
I'd be interested to find out what speed that they're riding, because also on their remotes, the E4s are set up where you can pretty much go from speed 1, let's say, which is very, very, very slow, to up towards 15. But I think the compromise of going up to a level of 14 or 15 would make the trigger too sensitive when maybe you want to slow down.
Okay.
So I'd be quite interested to see what the setup is in regards to what these riders are actually choosing when it comes to how much they want to get out of the motor.
So that's really an acceleration from the spin of the motor rather than actual top.
Exactly.
What's the top velocity that they're going to be going?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Coming across the beach, looks sort of 15, 20 knots.
Yeah.
Something like that. So it's quite a cool shot from if we had a camera inside the commentary box. Just seeing
it feels like actually,
whistle.
like from our point of view, that it seems like they're going, especially on the straights, that little bit faster than what it seems on your screens.
Yeah, with a drone following shot, you don't get the sensation of speed. Right, next up, third athlete is Renaud Barbier from France, based out here in the United Arab Emirates, and he heads down towards the first turn. In that crouch position, 3 Barbiers on the entry lists. Renaud, 45 years of age. Younger brother is also here, Baptiste.
And quite a difference from the previous rider we saw in Manel. You can see here just a little bit more, a lot slower around those turns. Also on the straights a little bit, but a nice position there. All that weight going forward, stopping that board from breaching up and taking it nice and easy. Getting this lap under his belt. Part of the reason here is for them to get confident with the course and see maybe what turns they can push it a little bit more.
Again, Manta foils, specifically designed or becoming specifically designed for racing. Now goes out to the right-hand side, round the right of that yellow buoy. Most of the buoys they're going around are big yellow ones.
Yep.
There are a couple of the smaller white ones, however. He just looks a bit sort of tentative, a little bit stiff on the board, perhaps. We saw Manel was so relaxed and happy to move around his weight, but Renaud looks a little bit more scared of moving, if that's fair to say.
Scared of pushing it to the limit a little bit more, and you can see that in the time. It's coming up to around 1.5 minutes. So
over the line then. And he may be close, to Witold. 1:32.5 is that first lap. Witold was a 1:31.9. So for the moment, that's the slowest time. But of course, we did see Witold fall off on two times on his first run. So now, as you say, get a banker lap in and then maybe push it for the second attempt. This will establish the ranking for the elimination phase of the competition. No points awarded in your time trial.
Yeah, interesting there, because they'll be head-to-head in that elimination as well. So there'll be two going at once rather than what we're seeing at the moment, where just one rider is on the water. But here you go, second lap. So looking to beat that 1:32.
So down towards the smaller white first mark, away from Yas Island, which is behind us, and into that first turn. Quite high in the water. That's a good thing, isn't it, when it comes to turning, because it gives you more leverage to tilt the board over and turn through.
Yeah, exactly.
The
I mean, sometimes on the riders that really push it, you actually see that foil come out of the water, but they're able to hold it. You know, that's when you know they're really pushing the board to its limits.
Obviously, in the straights, I presume lower the better, and also lower in the body to be more aerodynamic and smooth.
Yeah, and also when you get to that point where you can really feel that the board wants to come out, and then it gets a little bit shaky, and it's just like you said, keeping that position where you've got enough weight on that front foot to stop the board from breaching, but also keeping that speed going forward.
Nice and tight to that mark on the far side from the beach. Long arcing right turn as he comes back towards us now. This is Renaud Barbier from France. I think they're actually based out here in Dubai. Seems like e-foiling is a popular thing. I suppose it's a popular thing where there is not a lot of wind, and therefore it gives you an opportunity to get out on the water, move at speed, without the need and reliance upon wind or wave. Yeah,
100%. And now you're seeing e-foils like that Lift X, where they're sort of made for different type of conditions. So broadening the experience for the riders to go out in a variety of more conditions. We're not saying that you can't use the e-foils when it's windy. You definitely can. But in conditions like this, where it's nice and flat, it's really made to get you out on the water in maybe those days where you didn't think you could. And we're seeing as well a lot of like kiters and wingfoilers, getting an e-foil to keep them on the water for more.
Yeah. A 1:31.5 was the time for Renaud Barbier, so he slots into second position ahead of Witold Abramowicz. And we will soon get Julia Castro on the water, the Spanish lady, mixing our 5 female racers with the males in this time trial section.
Yeah, she's using the foil drive as well. The foil drive is a slightly different concept to, let's say, the e-foils that we're seeing. The reason being, with the e-foils, you've got the motor, built into the mast, and the battery goes into the boards with a compartment at the top of the board. Whereas on the foil drive, it's sort of an additional setup that you can put on maybe something that you already have that's existing. We're seeing a lot of people get the foil drive to use it as an assist for maybe some prone surfing, try and catch a few more waves. But in this instance, we're seeing Julia here mount the foil drive low towards the bottom of the mast, similar to how the e-foils are set up for more of a racing, let's say, style.
So you can move it around to your preference?
You can.
Oh, very cool. So Julia Castro, a little bit unstable through that first turn. The board bobbling up and down out of the water. Hasn't touched down, though, yet, so keeps it flying.
Yeah.
We are going to mix the women with the men throughout the competition, aren't we?
We are, yes, yeah, definitely. We've got like you said, around 5-6 women that are going to be competing and mixed amongst the men. And what you'll also find as well with the foil drive here in Julia, she's keeping it together, but you can see that the speed isn't quite there. And with these other e-foils, with a bigger battery, they've got a bit more grunt to them. Whereas the foil drive, not quite having it on this lap here from Julia, but goes to show its versatility on what it can be used for. Coming now to that halfway point. Julia also a very competent wingfoiler. She's a good kiter. She's very much a water woman, based as herself out also in Fuerteventura, over in the Canary Islands. And now joins us here in Abu Dhabi.
Also been working for Sail GP, creating online content for them. And we last saw her in the World Cup in Fuerteventura. She is based out of Fuerteventura, the windy island. So probably quite happily spends a lot of time using the wind rather than using a foil, using an e-foil, because there's so much wind there. There wouldn't be many days where you'd need to get an e-foil out.
Nuking over there in the Canary Islands. I think Gran Canaria is the windiest place I've potentially ever been to, knowing that it just, that windsurfing spot, Pozo, does not stop blowing 40-plus knots throughout the summer.
Well, it's been stable. She has a tiny touchdown on that last turn, but a time of 1:58.31 is our first women's time. As I say, they will be mixed up with the men, so we'll have a women's winner in the division, but throughout the they don't have their own separate competition in terms of the elimination element. I guess as we get through more competitions, this is the first year of the SFT World Tour e-foiling. As we grow the women's division, I imagine we will have the need to separate the two. Yeah,
definitely, just how we have it over in the on the GKA side and the GWA. The numbers will grow. We're seeing more and more events. It's been a good first year actually, with some plenty of events this year on the e-foil side. And Julia here going for her second lap. You can see the timer started, 15 seconds in already. Riders get 2 laps if you've just joined us, and they've got this course to follow. It's an elimination, but timed here. And they get 2 attempts, and between each attempt, they go and reset for a fast start. So crossing the line with speed.
Which is different to the elimination series, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's correct.
They will start. Oh, she's dropped it. That's a shame. Yeah, they're going to start a static start for the elimination series. So you've got the extra added challenge of getting the board out of the water and getting up on the board. And I tell you what, as somebody who is a rookie foiler, being up and foiling isn't too bad, and floundering around in the water is really easy. The middle bit is the challenging bit. The getting up out of the water and getting onto the foil is really the hardest bit. And there she, just a little bit too much weight forward and nose dives into the water.
But that's where the equipment choice can be quite key as well, because of course you'd like to go on a smaller setup to be lighter, more agile. But what you might find with a smaller setup is actually it's a bit harder to actually get started. On the really small e-foils, not all the time, will they start. You'll see a lot of the time they'll start on their belly, then they go up to their knees, and they go up to their feet. But on the really, really small stuff that actually maybe sinks when you're lying on it, they tend to do a circular start and then head up. But again, that could maybe lose some time.
Julia coming to the end of the her second lap here. And as she drops it in the water, she is not going to be as fast as that first lap of a 1:58.310. But actually didn't lose huge amounts of time. Didn't. So she was on a better lap, wasn't she?
Yeah, no, probably around the 150 if she wasn't able to take a tumble there.
So that's the first of our females. We're going to have the second of our females in the water in just a second. The wife of Witold Abramowicz, who we met a little bit earlier on. She was filming the content for Witold beforehand, and now it's her turn to
full cycling face mask look there.
Yeah, I noticed Witold was running a downhill mountain biking helmet, and looks like Aneska is doing the same thing.
Yeah, there could be some gnarly wipeouts if you're traveling at speeds.
Yeah, don't forget water is like concrete. Yeah. You can do some proper damage.
Yeah, good example of how to start here. Onto your belly, getting enough speed, front foot goes up towards the front of the boards, and then nice and easy, keeping that pressure so that the foil doesn't breach too early. And what you normally find, especially, is that once they're up and they're foiling, their position slightly changes.
Yeah.
Not too much, because when you're traveling at speed, you do want to have enough front foot pressure where you're not breaching the board, but you also want to potentially have that back foot maybe around the mast point to really dig some pressure into that area, especially on the turns.
Yeah, I'm surprised she hasn't quite got up and foiling yet.
No.
And she's also missed the start, which is good because the timer hasn't started. So she can circle round again and not miss anything. But yes, she does need to go through the start rather than onto the beach.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit of confusion there at the start. She was just talking to Ignacia there, one of our crew members from the SFT. So explaining the start and how it operates. But like you said, timer didn't start, so there we go.
Sorry for that little burst. That was not meant for the broadcast. That was that was meant for our technician who's in the booth with us. Yeah. When she was on that sort of warming up period, the board was still in the water.
Yeah.
She hadn't quite got herself up on the foil, which presumably gives you a huge amount more stability.
I think she's just a little bit too far forward right now, or there's too much front foot pressure. She just needs to lean back a little bit, put a little bit more pressure on that back foot. She's doing the same again here. She just needs to get that foil out. You can see creating a sort of wake at the moment. You know, the mast lengths we're seeing around 75 to 85 centimeters, I would say, on average. So there's plenty of room there.
Yes.
to give it some. And more comfortable now up on the foil.
I did notice that she is on different kit to Witold.
Okay.
We do have some of the athletes sharing kit with others, especially the husband and wife combinations, but she's on a flight setup, according to my documents. And Witold was on a Manta.
Good example here, though, of just the speed that you need to go around the turns. Of course, you want to come off it a little bit, but you're seeing here, if you come off too much and come off the foil, the nose of the board tends to dig into the water, and then all of a sudden you're losing all your speed. And when you're on an E4, if you lose your speed and you're still standing up, you've got no chance of getting back up. You need to go back to your belly, onto your knees, and then you go from there.
So what you want to carry momentum rather than being accelerating and deaccelerating, because that would be unstable.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you come off foil now and you sort of end up sinking, you know, of course you can up your speed on your remote, on your trigger, which can give a bit more grunt from the propulsion unit, but you know, it's sometimes, in my opinion, a lot faster just to go down, go back on your belly, up on your knees, and then go and start from there.
Very lucky to share my transfer to the event site with Justin and Jacob, who are the sort of, well, they're first and second in the rankings right now. And so they gave me a good little 15-minute lowdown of the technical aspects of this. And they were also talking about being able to vary your amount of angle on the foils underneath the water, but not something they would want to do during a run. But it is possible, and they call them button bashers. People
would pay for this information, Ben. You've got some good inside info from the leaders.
Apparently, button bashing is not a good thing because you're creating drag in the water, but there are athletes that do button bash to either fly or drop. And actually, that's a better time from Aneska Abramowicz than over Julia Castro. So she's the fastest woman with a 147 690. That was her first lap. So she'll go again.
Yeah, all right, it's getting 2 laps. This one looking a little bit better in regards to the start. You want to be crossing that line at speed. This is where you want to be going full throttle. Speed. Yeah, she's looking good here. A lot more comfortable. It's all about, getting that first lap under your belt, feeling comfortable with the course, and then giving it some on the second.
Great speed over the line out through our window, comparable really to the fastest time that we've seen so far, Manel Arpa. So now she's definitely pushing a bit more, but the board is in the water and giving her a bit of stability, but it doesn't allow her to turn as hard, and she finds exactly that problem.
That first turn is so important. We're seeing if you go too wide on that first turn, that second buoy afterwards becomes so much harder and tighter. So, of course, you want to be going across that start line with plenty of speed, but you really want to be tight around that first turn.
You can get a better angle of turning if you're higher in the water, because your turning moment is the foil at the bottom. And of course, if the board is in the water already, as Aneska just experienced, she can't get the angle. She's trying to get the turn. She's trying to push it more and basically just fell off that.
See how far her foot is forward there on the boards. Needs a little bit more speed just to get that foil up. Put a bit more pressure on that. You can see there as well, a good way of getting the foil up is just to sort of pump the board a little bit, a little bit of forward to back foot pressure can also help with a bit of lift. So not always do you have to go up on speed, but more, the technique of actually pumping the board up onto the water. We see it a lot as well with wingfoilers, especially in lighter conditions, pumping the board and using the foil as the power source.
The very best foilers in the world make foiling so easy.
Yeah, they make it look easy. It's annoying.
Yeah, very annoying. Standing on the board, not really doing anything, it seems, and the thing flying in the air. But this display giving us a much more visceral feel of what you need to do to fly stable. And with that front foot quite far forward and quite a large step that Aneska's got here. You see her working that front foot.
Yeah, you can see also the way that she's positioned her legs. She's quite far over the left with her front foot, and on the right she's quite far at the back, so distributing her weight evenly across the board, coming over the finish line now again with nice bit of speed.
Yeah, so it's going to be a slower lap because obviously she did have that dismount and in fact goes for a breach at the end, whether that was put on purpose or for spectacle. But that is the end of Aneska's attempts in the time trial. And she is fastest woman at the moment, was about 10 seconds faster than Julia Castro. But we are now going to be seeing one of the very best foilers in the world of female foiling.
Yeah, definitely. Aran Cerise, established GWA Wingfoil athlete. You know, podium finishes were very solid on both free fly slalom and also surf freestyle. Actually, one of the first female riders to try and push on the backflip as well when it came to freestyle wingfoiling. Recently had a baby with Alan Fedit, again, who is very established on the GWA Wingfoil World Tour. So congratulations to them both. First event back for Aran after her pregnancy. So, and first time we're seeing her on the E4 side as well.
Just 2 months old is little baby Fedit. We're expecting to see her next. She is wearing number 4.
There she is.
There she is. Then.
Same numbers she has on the wingfoil as well.
So trigger in her right hand. Being helped on the water, but of course not being helped on the water by Alan, because Alan's got to do the babysitting duties.
So here we go, Aran. Not sure how much e-foiling she has done. As you can see, looks like it might be a new type of foiling for her, because I mean she's a very well established foiler, as we've said. But you know, it's also understanding, you know, how much you need to give it on the throttle and the feeling of having a motor power you along rather than harnessing the power of the wind.
Yeah, I noticed on the regulations that kit may be available to rent for some of these competitions in SFT. So you could come to an event without any experience and give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, why not? But this is exactly what I was mentioning about before, you know, about having speed on your belly and then going from there.
So we've looks like we've changed our running order. So we have Justin Schacht running.
Oh.
And hang on, what's going on here?
Not quite sure. We've got both Aran and Justin in the area. But yeah, you go. So yeah, Justin is wrong at the moment. The guy is telling him that it's Aran's go, I believe.
She is in the water, but I've now seen her. I couldn't see her before.
Yeah, she's on the far right-hand side.
Far right-hand side, getting herself.
But that was a little tease. He's teased us there. You see how fast he was going there?
Yeah, right. Suddenly that time of...
Suddenly I was like, Aran. Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so Aran is saying no chance. Oh, well, now, hang on. There was a no, and then there's a thumbs up.
Yeah. So she needs to be even further on the front of the board here, because you can see it's really like the nose is lifting out. So even further forward. And now would be a good chance for her to come to her knees, because she's got enough speed and then have that front foot up.
Yeah, she's heading towards the beach, though. It's funny, isn't it? It's incredibly established foiler. She knows what she needs to do when she's up, but without that wing in her hand...
She's like, no.
You know, it completely changes things. Once you're holding onto that wing, you can take a little bit of pressure, of course. You know, with jumping, you're holding on completely to the wing and taking all the weight off your legs. But here, you don't have that, and that changes that. And then also, if you're doing toe foiling, it completely changes the weight distribution because the body is being pulled in a different way. So that's a shame. Yeah. We won't see Aran any further, but maybe we'll see her out on the beach having fun anyway.
Okay, here we go. So number 1 in the rankings now, Justin, coming out of Florida. Look how much speed he's carrying over the start line. You can see the amount of water that's being sort of pushed out from the foil beneath. Let's see how far he carves as well around that first buoy, that first important buoy. You can see foil there, the tips of the foil coming out of the water as well. So really pushing it rail to rail here.
Justin absolutely flying laying down the gauntlet for the rest of the competitors here this weekend. It's his first attempt as well. And really, you can see the foil just poking out the water. He's absolutely on the limit, on the ragged edge. An 800 mast, he told me this morning, on that board. And he's just so stable in the water as well.
Yeah, you can see his feet moving as well, the back foot there, and now going forward on the board on the straight. And then you see on the turn, he tends to move back again. Yeah, so that back foot over the mast.
This is what he was telling me about walking. We've seen some of the athletes with foot straps, but he absolutely insistent that you need to be able to move around on the board. It's incredible. He is absolutely as high as he could possibly be. And now tucks towards the line. This is going to be a sub-minute lap. No, it's not. And actually, the timer suggests it's only 0.3 of a second faster than Manel Arpa. Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I would have said visually that looked a lot faster. But presumably maybe carrying too much speed and therefore traveling too much distance.
Yeah, also his first lap. So I'm interested to know now with his second one if he's going to give it a little bit more juice.
Just looks so casual on the board.
He does, yeah. And it's so hard at that speed as well to be moving around up and down on the boards. You know, the foil is so sensitive, especially the foils that they're riding, you know, small wings. You know, any wrong movement where the weight goes can cause a crash.
Down towards this first turn. Sets up nice and wide so he can cut back for the left-hander. Yeah. Obviously trying to carry as much speed as possible, but he needs to be able to turn hard. And that left-hander, beautiful. The rail of the board touching the water and the foil coming out couldn't have been any tighter. And now down towards the beach once more.
Yes, coming in now. More speed, coming up to that straight in a second where the halfway point comes. Watch the positioning, really, really getting nice and low. Look at the body position.
Aerodynamic. Aggressive.
Ooh, nearly.
Little bit of stumble through there and now gets that weight forward on the board, moves himself back again as he comes towards the turns to give himself a bit more balance as well. And a bit slower this time, a bit more direct through these hairpin turns at the end of the lap. He'll open it up towards the line. Did he have to do slightly too much turning there? I wonder. Towards the line, though, and it is going to be the fastest time for sure. A good couple of seconds faster than he was previously. A 1:06.61. The gauntlet and time to beat for the rest.
Yeah, I think the time there came from, you know, tighter turns. And like you said, a really nice wide start, which helps get that first buoy super tight and makes the second one even easier. We saw a little bit of time, I think, lost around maybe the fourth or fifth buoy. But what I did see as well was as soon as he lost that little bit of time, it was literally like hang 10 on the board on the surfboard. Both feet right at the front of the board, full throttle, and then again moving the feet to a comfortable position where it was, you know, nice for the rest of the course. But definitely the time to beat there, I think, what was that, another 3 seconds on Manel?
Yeah. Yeah.
And 3 seconds
so
tough to make up.
This is Baptiste Barbier. I didn't have a age for him. He's a late addition, and I thought he was going to be the brother of Renaud Barbier, but I'm going to change my answer and say that he is the son. Anjalik and Renaud also in the competition. So we've got mother and father and son.
It's a family affair.
Very cool. And you know what? The young whippersnapper is going to be at the heels of Dad. Right, Dad did a 1:31.56.
Yeah, this is for bragging rights, this one.
Baptiste on the Manta. His dad also riding a Manta. We'll see Mum later on a Manta. Could be the same board, I suppose. Towards the line then. Now, he's got a radio system on that helmet. Probably isn't using it, I imagine. Something we see with freestyle where you have people on the beach able to feed back to the athletes on the water as to what they're doing. We saw at the start of the year Capucine Delanois using it in the wave competition controversially. Yep. They've been out recently in Dakla.
Yeah, one more event on the Kite Surf Tour in Brazil. This is where we're heading next. After we finish in Abu Dhabi, we've got freestyle kite and a kite surf event. So 2 events in Brazil in a few weeks' time. Once we wrap up the big one here in the next few days.
Great thing about e-foiling and the foil competitions, SFT, you can do this on a lake, you can do this on the sea, and especially with e-foiling, you really don't need anything other than flat water. I think you had an indoor competition at the start of the year.
Yeah, we were in Boot Dusseldorf at the start of the year, the biggest indoor boat show in Europe, where we actually kicked off the SFT as a general whole. We've also had pump foiling this year. Eden Fianda, coming out of Switzerland, won that event, or championship, should I say.
When you look at the freestyle foiling, they are all so young.
Yeah.
Average age, I think the last competition I worked on in Fuerteventura was something like 15 years.
Yeah, the Wingfoil can seem like a youth championship at most
exactly.
events.
Yeah, I suppose that center of gravity, that lightness helps, but interestingly, the average age in this competition, definitely 30s, much more like a kite surfing competition. And I suppose the limitation here is cost, isn't it? Because your kit is coming up to $20,000.
Yeah, it's not cheap. I mean, it can fluctuate as well, depending on what sort of setup you want. You know, the entry-level boards, a bit more robust, but the materials that they use, more like aluminium. Not the full carbon setups that you are talking about, upwards of 15,000, 16,000 euros. Obviously, it changes, but you saw from Justin there and Manel, they have the top setups and they've got the top times.
And it is going to be one of those things as a sport where the technology is what's going to be developing and moving. And so if the brands get behind it and start creating a racing environment, then they, as Mentor have said they are doing.
Yeah, I think all the brands are going to go down the route now of introducing some sort of race setup or race board, which is 4 courses like this, because it seems now that the E4 racing community is growing.
So Baptiste Barbier then, a 1:58 I think it was, which is just about our slowest time on the board, but goes again. That clock should be running for the second lap, but at the moment is not. So we might have a technical issue timing-wise. I think the timing, from what I understand, is human in terms of its. There is no sort of technology on the athlete itself like you'd see in cycling where they have little transponders on their wrists or their ankles. This is somebody literally with a stopwatch that's connected to the online system that sends that data onto the screen and onto the website. Comes down towards the beach. As you can see, that vista of Fahid Island and the Fahid Beach Club and Kite Beach.
Yeah, it's amazing what they've done here. I mean, only really here we have the Barbosa. So the whole event set up, from the stage on the right-hand side there to the whole, amazing athlete area that they've provided to us in crew area. We're expecting big crowds for the next week, big opening ceremony later with all the riders, numerous riders. I think we're upwards of around 100, coming from all over the world. America, we've got New Zealand, plenty of Europeans here, Venezuela, so loads of different riders across, the 5 disciplines that we're running over the next 9 days.
I think Baptiste went the wrong direction there. He should have gone round a yellow mark that he missed, that one behind.
Yep.
So this will be a no-timed lap, I'm afraid. And to be honest, we don't know the time anyway. Yes. We didn't know the time anyway. So it's come out as a 10-minute lap. So I'm afraid he'll have to count his first lap. Comes over the line at a 1:46.4. So it was a faster lap, but of course it's going to be faster if you miss a mark.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that I saw him miss a mark there.
Next rider, Max Domjan out of Argentina.
Yeah, another
number 8.
Another late addition to the entry list. So I think that's the second athlete that I do not have his age for. There he is, though. And
looks like the same setup that Justin was on.
Trying to bring the young Baptiste back to the beach. And that then allows number 8, Maps Domian, out onto the water.
So good position on the board. I'm expecting a quick time here. Aluminium mast, worth noting, a little bit heavier.
In this part of the world, there are so many people from different nationalities, but all living in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So when you look at an entry list and go, oh, wow, that's quite impressive, and then you find out where they're actually living, and a lot of them are sort of native or familiar with the waters. The entry fee only basically €100, 80 euros for the competition and 20 for the registration.
Correct.
So really accessible for anybody as long as you've got the kit. A bit wide on that first turn, giving away a lot of time, and that will then compromise the next couple of turns. A bit less stable in the water, the board coming up and down.
Yeah, dolphin-like around those first two buoys, and again around the third where the board's just touching on the water. Plenty of speed can be lost there. As Max now going round the fourth bend, that's a little bit nicer there, keeping it together. Bit more speed after this buoy when he goes and hits the halfway point, coming up to 45 seconds now.
That front foot really,
so far forward,
really close to the front of the board.
Yeah.
And perhaps that is just bringing the board a bit too low in the water. It's certainly very low in the water as he rounds that back turn, and now it rises up, and it also seems to have a bit of a wiggle on.
Yeah, I think that's an element of going at the pace and maybe just feeling slightly out of control at times. You know, not also changing the sort of the feet position, and that's coming in quite crucial, especially you saw on Justin's lap, you know, going through different sections of the course, he's able to push the board, you know, to different limits, but that also means that he's got to change position and sort of dance across the boards, which we're not seeing amongst too many other riders.
Well, there was a few times where it looked sketchy as to whether he would go swimming or not, but he's got across the line without falling in the water, and it's a 1:33.1. So that puts him in 5th position at the moment. It's the slowest time of the men, except for Baptiste Barbier. I am hearing that we are potentially going to have Aragne coming out later on.
Maybe she's gone to do a few...
Going to do a bit more practice.
Yeah.
Although, just to see if she's actually on the beach or not. Right, coming across towards the line once again for his second attempt. Max Domian from Argentina.
Good speed here along that straight. Went wide here last time.
Yeah, that's better. That's a better setup. Now, lay the board across for the turn. Still got that sort of twitching from the rear of the board. That will certainly not make him feel particularly stable. And that sort of classic rear leg. Flying pretty well, though. Gets the boy at the very back of the course. Now heads back towards the beach, to the halfway point. He's a good 10 seconds slower than we saw from Justin at that point. But this does look faster than he was able to do before.
He's kept it together, he has.
Oh, he rescues it. Gosh, that was very, very close. We saw a few times he did that in the first run. And the master of recovery once more.
It's going to knock a few seconds off there. Impressive how he kept it together there, and pretty much the whole board was under the water.
And the whole thing decelerates so much, doesn't it?
Oh, he loves it.
Saved it again. And
oh, no, he saves it again.
Wow.
Yeah, just about. But, I mean, that's got to be, 6 to 8 seconds lost.
He is absolutely flying towards the line. You don't quite get the same, from that drone shot, you don't really get the sensation of speed, but at his straight line, he is very strong, but that was a slower lap time than his first.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid he is the slowest of our men so far. I wonder if Baptiste Barbier's time is correct on our screens. I have a feeling that he may have made an error in his first lap as well, because he's been given a disqualification.
Yeah, you can still it's a nice view there of what the setup is under the water. You can see there fixed propeller, which is what most of them, if not all of them, are going to be using because it gives a lot more force. You also have options of a jet, but you tend to see the jets more like teaching boards, mainly for a safety reason. But they don't give the same amount of power as a fixed prop does. The other prop that is also an option is a folding prop. which when you come off the trigger, naturally the prop just folds away. And what that is really, really good for is it does generate less drag, but that doesn't really matter on a course because you want to have pretty much that propeller turning all the time. So the 3-blade fixed prop pretty much, I would say, is the go-to racing setup at the moment. The folding props are tend to use in more sort of downwind style, riding the swell, riding the waves, because it gives you a more of a foiling experience, let's say, and less drag.
So it's Thomas Radij who has been helping family Fedit. I'm just trying to work out who is on the beach because we're about to see Alan Fedit come out. A R&D engineer for AFS and obviously a very well-known name in the world of freestyle and foiling.
Yeah, absolutely rips on the freestyle side of things. He's got to keep up with the young guns though now on the GWA.
And so now it's the same. Looks like exactly the same board as his partner was running.
Yeah, it looks like he wants maybe a bit more speed.
Gives a thumbs up to the boat, and therefore let's see what Alan can do in his first run. Certainly not as aggressive as we would see from the.
No, it looks quite relaxed.
Yeah, pretty chill. And now into the turn. Oh, and that was gave it a very wide berth, and now he's got to do that quick switch to get the board around the left-hand turn, which is backside for him. And this feels as though this could be a very early public experience of e-foiling.
Yeah, they'll be with us all week, though, competing on the slalom side of things. But yeah, definitely on the, let's say, slower side.
Yeah, missed Fuerteventura because, of course, waiting for the birth of his child. In the end, the little one came 1 month later, but did not compete in the slalom in Fuerte. And
he was down for Gran Canaria as well with the back-to-back events we had over in the Canary Islands. Could have competed after all.
Yes. But it's quite impressive, actually, to think that Iran's trying to get up on a foil 2 months after giving birth. Let's not forget. Yes, the child is 2 months old, but she's been through that just 2 months ago. Extra wide berth given for that left-hand turn. It is amazing, isn't it? The world's best foiling, you would have thought, would be a very quick transferable skill, and yet Alan is not struggling because he's got round in one go, and it's going to be a time of 1:38. Just needs to control it, to calm it down. So that is the slowest time of the men so far. But, give him an hour.
Yeah, give him an hour on that board, but also, give him maybe something slightly smaller. I'm not sure what setup he's got on the foil on the front wing size, but an hour, 10 minutes on that board, 10 minutes on something slightly smaller, different setups. Let him find the sweet spot, and he'll be good to go.
Interesting to see athletes bringing new kit down to the beach. I would have thought you'd pretty much decide what you want, and that's it. It's not as though the conditions are particularly changing or, wave or winds are changing.
Yeah, he's going quick here.
Nice tuck position down towards the first turn. Now, he gave this one a really wide berth on his first attempt. That is way better
there
on
we
his
go.
second.
That's nice. You can see the propulsion unit then nearly coming out the water, going too fast, which has led to an extremely wide second turn.
Didn't trouble the apex of that left-hand backside turn. But now it should be better. Now he gets back into that comfortable...
Oh, he likes this position, doesn't he?
Cruising position down to the fast right-hander. Back towards the beach. Oh, goes in the water, though. Just dropped the board a little bit too low. Quick recovery, though.
Shame. I like it, though, when they're like really on the limit, And they're like, oh, is he going to make it? Is he not?
And gets it back up very nicely.
Yeah.
Right, now needs to settle himself down. It's probably, it's almost certainly going to be a slower lap. What happened here?
You can see the propeller at the back there just coming out, but keeps it together. But, having to focus so much on staying on foil that he's gone wide on the turn. And I think here just pushing the board a bit too much.
Slightly overcommitted. Yeah.
Trying to go a little bit too tight.
When you're on mountain bike or motorbike and you lean too much and the wheels say no. That was kind of what happened there, and it looks like he's been down for a second time. So, yeah, in terms of the elimination, it means he's going to not play particularly well against the fastest guys, but I can see a rapid sense of improvement over today. And if the... Wow. Oh, wow, that was huge.
That's a good one.
He bailed out of that lap, so he's gone down to the beach.
Yeah, I reckon I'd be really... Yeah, see, if I was Alan now, I'd have a smaller front wing there. That looks like a pretty big front wing with a lot of lift. So, yeah, definitely something to go down in size. A lot of the time it was looking like he was focused so much on not having the foil breach. And that comes down to, you know, the choice of foil that he's got there.
But why would you go big?
I mean, maybe it's maybe they don't have something smaller for them, but right. The bigger the foil, I mean, it's a bit the more lift it can tend to generate. That can depend on the shape of it as well. I mean, you also see a lot of more high aspect wings, which are really great for downwinding and sort of and pumping and gliding. But I would say, you know, a typical race setup, you know, is a lot smaller. So
next athlete should be number 29. Who's got the orange helmet and actually coming towards the line now. So we were looking at the wrong athlete for the moment. We are going to see Alexandre Terasenko from Latvia about to start his lap. Here he goes. And the 44-year-old from Latvia heads towards the first turn.
Wide turn there. Going round the second.
Not too bad.
No, a little shift of the weight as well, with that back foot coming a little bit further forwards.
Another flight setup. Nice and small board. Nice and stable in the water.
Looks very in control.
Does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks very smooth. Yeah, a couple more knocks up on the throttle speed and I think he's going to be good to go.
Well, I think that's exactly what I would do. I mean, lap one, play it safe and get one in, and then, and as you say, if there is literally a way to notch up the speed, then do that for the second lap.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't really want to do that mid lap either, because there can be sometimes maybe there's a slight delay from actually clicking the speed on your remote to actually being visible on the remote, or even so, like if you've got your finger on the trigger and you do go up on the speed, all of a sudden you can, you know, really feel that surge of acceleration depending on how far you go up. But I would choose it beforehand, you know, pick your weapon and then commit to it.
Alexandre comes over the line then and registers his first time. The Latvian definitely has some space. A 1:27.6 is his time. So that's actually good for third fastest. Got a massive difference between our fastest two athletes on 1:06 and 1:09, and then the third fastest athlete down on 1:31. So he slots into that gap, goes third, but I think he's got more pace in him.
Yeah, I was actually looking at the rankings as well. We don't actually have the third, the fourth,
no,
the fifth, or the sixth, or the seventh, or the eighth. So there's quite a few riders here that do have had good performances throughout the year, but they actually aren't here in Abu Dhabi. So maybe there is room for, you know, a new familiar face to be coming in to the rankings. But let's see, you know, how many riders have we got here still to get through? We're nearly coming up to, I would say, the halfway point of the riders that we have, just shy of halfway.
Coming down towards the beach once again. It's been another stable run, but it gets the feeling that this is a better run. This is a faster run from Alexandre. The board looks stable in the water. It looks really good. As I said, there's been 5 competitions so far, 2 in America, 2 in Italy. And so you obviously have a lot of athletes doing their local event, but not necessarily running the whole season. So even the 2 Americans have done the 2 American events, but they were not in Sicily, I think it was earlier in the year. Or were they in Sicily and not in Lake Garda? They were not in Le Cat, and they were not in Lake Garda yet.
Well, there you go.
Thankfully, well, actually, Le Cat scored over 1,000 points. So the more prize money and the more athletes, the more points the event scores, as Alexandre improves his time by 5 seconds to a 1:23.2. So the most powerful, the best event of the season was the Atlanta Foil Fest. That scored 1,600 points, but this one scores double that. Next athlete then will be Timothin Gulcan from Turkey, also based here in the UAE. And all of our Turkish production team are now going to criticize my pronunciation.
Okay, so here we go. Going for the first lap. Carrying some speed. Ideally needs a little bit more. Not crossing the line at the fastest we've seen.
And he heads down towards the first couple of turns. Yeah, so registered as an athlete from the UAE, but flying the Turkish flag on our entry list. But like so many of our athletes have got different, various different nationalities at play.
Keeping it together nicely here, though, at the moment. Similar to our previous rider, showing a lot of control, but definitely wanting more speed. At
A
this
lot
rate,
of control.
Yeah, you're looking at like a 140, I would say, at this rate.
When it looks good, sometimes it's not fast.
Yeah.
And it looks really good. Looks really, really smooth.
Yeah, it's like picturesque, isn't it?
Yeah. Comes now down towards the hairpins for the end of the lap. Firstly, the toe side, then the heel side for him. Of course, I imagine that changes as well, depending on if you're standard or goofy, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it makes a big difference, and that's why it's a lot of riders at some event, they want to see different courses, and that favours different people depending on if they're goofy or regular.
Oh God.
Which is why it's nice to mix up the course.
That reminds me of one of the more amusing scenes in Fuerteventura of athletes shouting up at the tower.
Yeah.
They're favouring certain
Especially
athletes.
like when it comes to like freestyle, and I mean both freestyle and slalom. The way the course is set out, it can make a huge difference. Just got to train both, but just got to be good on both sides.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You guys, the best in the world.
So lap number 1 was a 140.1, and he goes now for attempt number 2 down towards the first turn.
Bit more speed there going over that start line as well, as expected on your second lap.
Didn't look massively aggressive on that first lap, so it would be good to see him just slightly up the aggressiveness.
Yeah, it does look like, though, maybe a crash.
It's still up on his board, but yes, maybe there was a dismount. Just now again, very low in the water as he rounds that right turn. The rail of the board touching the water, asking for trouble.
So coming up now, past that halfway point, and we're already at the minute mark, so probably not going to be seeing an improvement on that first time of that first lap, Oh, nearly loses it there towards the end. There's one final turn now on the second lap. Who have we got coming up next? Dominic out of the Netherlands. Residing in the UAE as well, potentially. Okay, a 1:39.491. So I think just snipping on that first lap, actually.
So it falls into that sort of second group of athletes that we've got.
Yeah, I'm interested to see who's going to take that sort of, who's going to bridge the gap between the 1:10 and the 1:30. There's at least, you know, what have we got there? We've got at least, 20 seconds to be made up. Oh, really nice shot here. So this is for example, on the mantra board where the battery actually goes.
Oh, so that's the battery hole.
Yeah,
there.
that's the battery hold. You can see right by the. I mean, they're all different setups. Some of them. This, for example, is going in on the base of the board, but majority, I would say, go in on the top. They're also like as mentioned there. That was Alan changing his front wing.
Ah, well done.
So.
All right. So here is Dominic Hoskins, 54-year-old from the Netherlands. I think he is our.
He's on a foil drive.
Oldest
no,
competitor.
He's not.
Yes, he is a foil drive competitor.
Yeah.
Won the foil drive class that we had in Lake Garda.
I'm just trying to see where the it's down below.
And he was the best foil drive. The board's long though in comparison to what we've seen from some of our other athletes.
Yeah, I mean, like, as we know with the foil drive, it's like an addition, so you can add it onto your existing kit. So there's something like this board would not be, let's say, is it prioritized around the e-foiling, but maybe used for something like prone foiling. And I haven't seen that way of starting before. Paddling like a surfer then to start the sequence.
And the first dismount. I suppose that helps the foil drive if you haven't got a huge amount of torque initially.
Yeah, or buoyancy on the board because this board looks small. Oi! Just keeps it.
Oh dear, another swim.
Nice community they've got down there at the beach. Everyone just sort of standing on the shore watching. Dominic now, a couple of falls on this lap. Axis foil as well. And I believe that might be an AFS board.
Quite regularly, Dominic appearing on the Foil Drive podcast that they have on YouTube and the audio version, presumably on wherever you get your podcasts from. Trying to establish how involved he is with Foil Drive, but certainly very, very close to the company, if not his company.
They're also joining us here at the event. They've pitched up down on the beach, so go down and test them.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on, isn't there?
It's not just the action that we've got on the water. There's plenty that's actually going off the water. We've got sort of seminars and clinics taking place where we're going to be having some of our professional athletes in these disciplines do a little bit of teaching with some of the local schools as well. We've got lots of evening entertainment, whether that comes to bands or there's a DJ tonight as well for the opening ceremony. So you can expect, if there's no wind, we can expect our e-foils to be there or our wake foiling that's taking place next weekend. And if there is wind, then we've got 3 disciplines to cover you. We've got the hydrofoil big air, again, where we'll be crowning a world champion during this week. We've got the GKA freestyle kite, which is the first event of the year. Second one takes place in Brazil in a couple of weeks' time over in Taiba Lagoon. And then we've also got the GWA free fly slalom, where, again, that's tight at the top there. That's anyone's game after multiple events this year, crowning world champions, again, in the free fly. So action on and off the water. Right now, we are halfway through on the e-foil time trials. before later on, potentially if the wind doesn't pick up, going into the elimination. If it does pick up, I would place my bets on hydrofoil taking place.
Coming towards the end of his second attempt, Dom Hoskins then, the director. I knew he wasn't the owner, but he is the director of Foil Drive and heads up the European team. He was the first customer of Foil Drive.
Really?
Back in 2021, and is now part of the team, but knows the Middle East well, based out of here, and comes towards the end of this second attempt. It's going to be a better lap time because the first one was a 2:11 after his dismounts.
Yeah.
And actually looks like he's got a really cool angle on it.
I was going to say, I think that's because the actual board that he has, you know, not being like a proper e-foil setup and just having the Foil Drive as an addition to his current setup. That board's going to be, you know, it's going to be small, it's going to be low on litres, it's going to be light, and you can see that on the turns. He's really able to keep them tight.
On a course like that, what we have here, it seems like that could be of benefit to be able to shorten the distance a little bit through these big hairpins.
On the turns, for sure, but on the straights, that's where you're going to be lacking speed and power.
Right. So, Dominic with a 140, and that slots into 8th position. Just behind Alan Fedit, just in front of all of the women. And who are we expecting to see next? Yes, another of our women. So Anjalik Barbier then. Mummy Barbier, if you like. Great. Full wetsuit going on there. Oh, they're trousers. They're not. It's not a full wetsuit. I mean, you wouldn't need a full wetsuit. The water is hotter than the air temperature, according to my Windy app. It's 31 degrees. I haven't put. Have you put your foot in it?
No, not yet.
Have you not?
No,
You've been here longer than I have.
No, I guess for a few hours.
Working.
No, I was actually keep thinking to myself, well, I'll test the temperature, but I haven't done so yet.
So, Anjalik heading towards the start line. Husband Renaud still third fastest, despite being a good 20-odd seconds slower than our top two.
Yeah, you take it. You take it. That's a podium spot there.
Yeah, exactly. Sam Baptiste, unfortunately, with a sort of a disqualification, we think. And just Jacob there getting himself hyped and psyched. I think he's got a bit of time to come before he needs to get in the water, though.
Eight or nine riders ahead of him.
Anjalik looking nice and stable here. Looking a little bit, well, exactly the same as Renaud, actually. A little bit rigid.
Yeah. Needs to loosen up a little bit on the boards.
Concentration.
Taking the turns rather wide there.
But she's seen some of the other athletes falter and fall in the water.
Who's the fastest woman so far?
Aneska Abramowicz with a 147.
Okay.
We've just had the two women so far that actually completed. Julia Castro, 11 seconds slower than Aneska.
Let's see, maybe Iran comes back into the mix.
Yeah, where is she? I haven't seen her if she's...
With the baby.
Yeah, I think she might be with the baby rather than practicing. Especially if they're sharing a board with Thomas, who's coming up shortly.
Okay, so 1 minute 20 now. And we have just gone past the halfway point. So that quick time of a 140 is going to be a tough ask on this first lap.
It is very stable, though.
Yeah. Riding the magic carpet at the moment.
Yeah. In towards this tight turn. She's got to do a full 180 and come back on herself. Not too bad. And now commits. So she's goofy here. And therefore that means she's got 4 tight turns to ride backside rather than the 2. Now towards the line. And the first attempt is going to be past the 2-minute mark.
It's okay, it's a timed lap.
It's better than Baptiste.
It's a timed lap.
It's better than her son, who unfortunately didn't get a lap time in.
Okay, so going now back for the second lap. Fast start. Got a couple of Audi foils joining us on the next two riders as well.
Yeah, so is that Audi as in car brand Audi?
Yes.
Wow.
It's like a collaboration.
Okay. But the tech is obviously not coming out of Ingolstadt.
It's aerofoils. It's like Audi's aerofoils is what it's down as.
Okay. Here she goes for a second attempt then, Anjalik. French, but from Dubai. From the, actually, sorry, I say Dubai. That's a UAE flag beside her. The whole family out here. And the full family competing. What else to do for a weekend? Now, of course, this is effectively it's Sunday here in the UAE. It is actually Saturday. Don't get too confused.
I was going to say, you're confusing me with what day of the week it is now.
But their weekend is Friday, Saturday over here. So this is Sunday, and then back to work on Sunday. And they have a Sunday through to Thursday week over in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. I don't know if it's changed. It has changed. Oh, thank you to our producer, Salim. Shows how long ago it was the last time I was here. It is now normal to become more westernized.
Well, there we go.
Well, I did wonder why we were running a European weekend format. So there you go. It has changed. That shows just how the adjustment here in the Middle East has become so much more Western. You go to Dubai 10, 15 years ago, and it could have been a European city, but over here in UAE and in Qatar and other places like that, absolutely not.
And it's amazing to see like all the developments that's happening as well. Like this Fahid Island project is huge. I mean, you see the markup that they've got in one of the buildings just around from the event site, and amazing plans that they've got in place for this area. With water sports also being at the forefront of it.
At the focus, yeah, absolutely. So towards the line then, here comes Anjalik Barbier. And it is a decent improvement on her first time, but she does still go as the slowest, but she's still dry. So that means she can continue to push.
Yep.
She didn't try hard enough.
Yeah, you need to get the hair wet. Okay, number 13. Serion coming out of Russia.
And as you say, this is one of those two Audi branded.
The Audi aerofoils. Stealthy looking thing, isn't it? Khaki green.
Cool. 30 years of age.
Okay, so here we go. Flying start across by the committee boat. Green flag is up. And we are off now. As the timer is on, top right-hand side of your screen, so you can follow exactly the times. Nearly losing it on that first turn. Sort of a little bit of a bumpy start. Again on the second, just touching down a little bit too much. You really want to try and stay up on the foil as you go around these laps.
Slightly low in the water perhaps as well.
Yeah, when you're going at speed, it's quite nice to sort of just, definitely be a little bit more lower when you're at speed, just because, it gives you less chance of breaching that foil. But when you're going around those turns, you really want to be able to carve nice and hard.
Yeah, by being low, you don't have that potential.
Yeah, the board's going to touch the water too early.
And once that board hits the water, it's like pulling a handbrake on.
Yeah. Nice shot here with the drone being able to follow our rider. Got you covered from all sorts of camera angles during the week here.
Semyon is another expatriate to Dubai, running the Russian flag, but works as a wakeboard instructor and wake surf instructor in Dubai. From Dubai, about 50 minutes from Abu Dhabi.
I expect we'll see Serion and then also in the wake SFT at the end of the week.
Now gets the throttle down, buzzes towards the line. Decent speed towards the line. He just needs a bit more confidence when it comes to the turny bits. The time is a 1:50.1, so yeah, definitely could do with upping the pace for the next one. That is down in 10th position. Nice closer look at the kit.
Yeah, I might do a bit of fishing around later, you know, after the time trials and we're going to have a little bit of a break between the time trials and then going into the elimination, so we can sort of see who's up against who. And I think during that time, I'm going to do a bit of fishing around, have a look at some of these boards, look at some of these setups, you know, different board literage, so we can dive into the technical side of it a little bit more.
Geek out. Geek out.
Yeah.
Right then, down towards the first turn as family Barbier get themselves a photo. Oh, there's a fourth one as well. There's a younger daughter I can see out the window. Too young to be in the competition. But we watch even Audi, the 4 rings on the helmet.
Audi from top to bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have to say, the board does look good in the water. Now just touches down a little bit. Just needs to, again, fly that a little higher. Have the confidence to be higher on the mast. Maybe he hasn't got as long a mast as some of our other athletes. But is still just a bit too low in the water through some of these turns. As we said earlier, really happy when he's in a straight line.
Yeah. Now the turns are where the time is made up.
Here we go. Back towards the beach. The final couple of hairpins. The approach to the first one, not too challenging. You've got a nice wide approach. You need to cut back as tight as you possibly can on the exit of that one so that you can attack this one. There's the beach watching on. And just a bit too wide round that penultimate turn. Better through the final because he was on his toe side, so it's easier.
Yeah, basically. He's going to beat his time. He's going to beat his time of a 1:50.162, it looks like, by a good few seconds as well. Good lap there.
Over the line then, 1:40.961. And that slots in to around Dominic Hoskins and Timothin Gulcan, the Turkish rider. So
who we got next?
Now a big gun. Now a big boy.
Yeah.
Because this is the winner from Lake Garda last time out. And all of a sudden, the pace is going to be quite a bit different to what we've been accustomed to the last couple of runs. Interestingly, he comes into the water and then dismounts, just waiting for the flag, I think.
We're going to see that gap, aren't we, potentially be filled between that second and third place.
Well, Clemens would be hoping that he is going to be in front of Justin because he's only got 1,000 points to his name, but there are 3,000 points on offer for this. Justin has 2,800 points. So Justin would have to have a really bad day if he was to lose the title. But look at the speed.
Flying. He's also the first rider in foot straps so far. I haven't seen a rider wear foot straps at the moment.
So, yeah, that's an interesting one because the Americans were adamant that you need to move your feet around,
yeah.
But clearly Clemens doing it a different way. Clemens Cresser from Austria, the 41-year-old.
I think it can help maybe potentially a little bit on the turns, maybe being able to be a bit more fixed and really push the board. But like you said, when it comes to needing to maybe adjust here and there, especially down the straights, when the board is going faster, you do want to be a bit further forward on the board. He's not able to do that unless he takes his back foot out the strap and hustles that forward a little bit. That can also be the option, but he seems pretty locked in here. And so far, so good. Pushing the board to the limits, going nice and quick on the straights. Definitely not as fast as Justin on the straights, though. I can see that from watching. But some good turns here and a good time coming so far for Clemens.
I guess what this allows him to do is really commit to those tighter turns without the worry of losing his feet. Comes towards the line then. And this is a really good time. This could be second fastest. A 108.744 for Clemens Cresser. And that is second fastest. Behind Justin, but ahead of Manel Arpa.
There we go. That's what we like to see. Nice quick time there. 2 seconds slower than Justin, but a second quicker than Manel. Okay, so here we go again. Clemens now going for his second attempt, second lap.
Right. Well, that was faster than Justin's first lap, because remember, Justin was equal to Manel Arpa on his first attempt and was able to find 3 seconds. So we've got a competition on our hands here. Gives a look how he's gone out of our window and to the far right-hand side to build his speed as fast as possible.
Full throttle here.
That's a much cooler shot as he accelerates towards the line, leading really far forward. It's an odd posture. There's no doubt about that. All on that front foot.
Yeah. Gone wide as well, like we saw with Justin. Cutting it nice and fine around that first buoy. This is where the time's made up. Right at the start here. Smooth sailing so far.
Nice and aggressive on the turn. A little bit of a bobble on the exit of that right-hander. But he's running goofy, isn't he? So he's got 4 turns, 4 of those hairpin turns to ride on the less comfortable way. Now coming back
forward he is.
Yeah, it's an amazing posture with having to have those feet locked in.
Yeah, that's why he's like that.
It changes it completely. You can't step forward as we see from some of the other athletes. I wonder if he's able to create lift with that rear foot. Whether he wants to.
Yeah, you'll see now really leaning forward, all the way over that front knee and then backing off just a little bit as he comes around to the latter stage of the course. This is going to be quick.
I love the fact that with a developing sport, you see different techniques. Not everybody doing the same thing. We don't see the foil pop out the water like we saw from Justin's aggressiveness towards the line. It's going to be a slower lap on this second lap than it was on the first. Maybe over pushed. And he looks over his shoulder to see if there's a lap time, but there isn't. A 1:13.120 is slower than he managed on his first lap. And that will be food for thought coming back to the beach now, because I would have thought he would want to have leveled up that second lap. To find out it was slower will teach him a few lessons.
Yeah, you can see just putting his hands to the side there. Not sure maybe what else he needed to do. I mean, it looked pretty quick, but again, like you said, there was a little bobble towards the start, wasn't there?
I think that Justin looked slower on his second lap, but he was tighter.
Yeah.
So the average speed was faster on his first lap, but he was able to cover less ground. And I wonder whether that is that's the secret. So on to our next athlete, Louise from France. He was the man that I saw walking outside our window, changing his kit earlier on. This looks very similar to the board that we saw Alan Fedit using.
Yeah,
he looks
it's the
super
same.
chill.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was about to say exactly the same thing. Looks like he's just going to a stroll for the shops.
I wasn't sure whether he had started, to be honest, because he just looks so relaxed compared to, for instance, the Barbier family who are in that fixed position, or Justin who's super aggressive. This is just very, very relaxed.
Yeah, reflects in the riding at the moment you're seeing.
But it's fast. I mean, looking out the window, it's fast.
Yep.
42 at the halfway mark isn't particularly fast. But we've still got that big gap, haven't we, between the first 3 now and 4th position.
Yeah, starting to build a bit of confidence as this goes on. Hitting that straight now before the second half.
Not a lot of movement in the feet. Even if he's not strapped in, doesn't seem to feel the need to move it around. Nice and cut that really tight, actually. rather than pressing his front foot on the board through that right-hand turn, he kind of came off the front foot, which allowed him to cut tighter. Comes across the line. Time for the first lap then, a 1:29.8. So that slots him into 5th.
Not bad position for what looked to be quite a chilled lap.
For a chiller. And
you watch this second lap, it's going to be like pure aggression.
Well, I reckon he's got the
balls
opportunity
to the walls,
now, right?
yeah.
He's got Alexandre Terasenko 6 seconds ahead of him.
Here we go. Already
and then a big gap.
Yeah,
so
it looks already a bit faster through that start line. But here we go. Second lap.
Nice and wide entry into that first mark. That allows him to switch back onto the heel side for the second. Not too bad. It feels as though he's pushing on the rear foot quite a bit through that turn. Did the same thing on that first lap, but then opens out round the back part of the course here. Nice and fast right-hand turn that brings you back towards the beach. And as you say, this looks more aggressive. This looks faster.
Yeah, definitely does look faster. Pushing the board a little bit more. You know, you can see there on the turns. Getting more axis going. Plenty of speed through the straight sections. Currently just under a minute so far and past the halfway point. So it's going to be a good lap here. If you can keep it together and keep this momentum going, we could expect a slight improvement on his first lap time. Nice turn there. One more to go. Nearly loses it.
Yeah, I quite like those hillside turns where he doesn't cover much ground. He's not going very particularly fast, but he doesn't cover much ground. Towards the line he comes now. This could be good enough for 4th position. I think it will be. A big improvement on his second lap, a 1:22.851. That goes ahead of Alexandre Terasenko.
Nice.
And 4th position then for Louise.
Yeah, good time there. Good time. You could see that from start to finish. Looked a bit more comfortable on the course there.
You got me shaking, yeah, I feel the fever coming on. Boy, you
Welcome back to the Fahid Beach, where we have our e-foil competition time trials going on for the moment. We have another 10 athletes to go, and then we will have established our time trial rankings. We've got a little bit of wind blowing up on the beach. Whether it will be enough to move across to a different discipline for this afternoon, or whether we will stick with this e-foiling competition will be something that the judges will be deciding on, and looking at the forecast as well. But this now is have you seen this man before?
Who we got here? We've got is it Emad that we've got now?
Well, I was about to say,
oh,
is
no.
that Amazin? Is that how you pronounce his name? Amazin Mayu.
I'll leave that one to you. But
So
no, I haven't.
I'm hoping that you'd seen him before.
No.
Being called Amazing is an amazing first name. Right, here we go, towards the line. Off we go then. Time starts. It just looks like it's amazing, but somebody spelt it slightly wrong. Through the first turn then. Nice and forward on this quite short board.
Yeah, it's the smallest board of the Lift 4, actually, the 4-2, I believe.
Wow, gosh. And yeah, not much space is there to get it wrong if you do. And unfortunately,
that was not amazing there.
not amazing. Let's have a look here. Just, it's really more like a wakeboard, that. Very, very short.
He's got another chance.
Got a second lap. Get a chance to... He can now really experiment, right? Because definitely this first lap's going to be not great. So why not properly commit to the second one? Looks like he might have missed some of the course. So this first lap, I think, is null and void. And he's going to go again. let's see whether the judges have realised that, because, oh yeah, the timing has disappeared.
There you go, full throttle.
And now, reset. Lap 2 then. Here we goes. Timer starts. Now, needs to set up a little bit wider.
Yeah.
Moves to the left-hand side as we're looking at it. Now into this toe side first turn.
He's gone wide.
Gone wide. And, I mean, it looks really tricky being on that short board.
Yeah, he's just trying to find the balance between, the right amount of speed and also not going out too hot around these corners.
Just the board dropping in down. Do you find is there sort of pockets in water where the foil doesn't operate and it drops like that, like you would have turbulence in a plane?
Only really if you're riding around with other riders, do you feel that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if you were following a rider now, for example, and you're crossing around each other, you do feel a little bit of turbulence on the foil.
Okay.
Yeah. But out there, when you've got the course to yourself, should be smooth sailing.
Do you get the, obviously when foiling close to the beach, in the wave category, for instance, at the start of the year, the foil catches little rocks in under the water.
Yeah, the seaweed's the other one, isn't it?
Seaweed.
That's a killer. That's not your friend on a foil.
We will have wing foil competitions where they're racing each other. Oh, where's he going?
Ooh.
Good recovery.
Yeah, nice quick recovery there.
Very, very wide and therefore very, very tight into that mark. Has to be slow through here, and that's going to make it challenging.
Oh, hands on the head as well. He still needs to get up back on the board though, get this timer. It's not over yet.
No, and he possibly won't be slowest.
No.
It is Baptiste Barbier who has the slowest time.
He's coming in.
It looks like he is heading towards the beach. That's a shame. It was a great recovery with that one. Oh, no,
yeah, he managed to just save that first section, but...
All right. We move on then. Emad Manani is the next athlete. There he is. We saw him earlier on, one of our younger...
Oof, looks a big board, that.
Athlete, 25 years of age.
Big, wide boards.
So what would be the benefit of running that short board we just saw versus something like this?
Well, it's definitely a little bit more agile around the turns for sure. Like I said, that was the smallest board that they do it in that model. The big one here, it's like anything, when you start your kite surfing career or your wing foiling careers, you always start on bigger kit. There's a little bit more buoyancy, it's a bit more easy and user-friendly, let's say. But, when you want to try and, push the boards to the limits a little bit more, especially when you're carving around quick buoys like we have in this course, you definitely want something a little bit lighter, a little bit more agile, just really that sort of more sporty feel.
Here we go then. Emad
He needs to get foiling.
Is up on the water. Oh, he's got a strap or something caught around his foil, so
maybe he's got a leash.
Going to be rather annoying. It's like seaweed, but
it's a leash.
Is it a leash?
Yeah, a leash. Maybe it's come off his back ankle, or he's even forgot to put it on. But yeah, that's going to be flapping around at the back of the boards.
A little bit of extra drag. Not quite up on the foil at the moment. It's going to make these tight turns even trickier than they already were with a bigger board.
Yeah. Just needs to give it a bit more power. You can see he's using that front foot to try and pump the board a little bit. But, he's got to work simultaneously with his back leg and maybe, I would say, a bit more power when it comes to maybe the speed that he's going at.
Nearly up out the water.
Yeah, just needs a bit more.
I mean, it doesn't look that slow, really. It looks...
There we go.
Good. Back out of the water for a few moments. So, what does he say? Do we needs to go a notch up on his on his power
he's getting
settings.
the hang of it now. Really slowed down there. You can see as soon as he slows down, he just comes completely off foil. And like I said, when you're like completely off foil and you're sort of just going along the water, you do need a bit more grunt to get back up, which he's done quite well here.
Notice that we haven't got a running clock for him. I don't know whether that is where that error is coming in, but we may well get a time for him. Nice and wide approach, a little too wide. And yes, gave lots of respect to that mark and is going to have to do the same thing here.
It's gone super wide. Keep it together, buddy.
It's over your shoulder. There we go. Good job.
Boom.
Got round the course, added a few extra meters onto it, gets back on the foil for a flying celebratory finish, and I'm hoping that there will be a time for him. We aren't seeing anything on our graphics, but he completes lap number 1. And yes, a 2:13 comes up on the board, 2:13.4. So that slots in as the slowest completed time.
We get to go again. He's got another chance to better that score. Just needs to, stop sort of wake surfing the boarding and get back up on that foil. Come on, mate. There we go. That leash, though, hanging off the back, that will definitely be giving a bit of extra drag. But a nice start here across the start line. Up on foil. Looks to have gone a little bit wide as well here, which could be nice coming in.
He needs the height, doesn't he, to be able to carve tighter around these turns. Because it's a really good demonstration of how he can't really get around these tight turns whilst the board is in the water, especially a big board like that. Yeah,
it's sort of like speed is your friend, So you want to have speed going into it so you can really sort of, push a little bit further, but at the same time, the faster you go, the more room for error there could be.
Down towards the back of the course again, splash down. It's going to make life tricky for him. Gets turned, now down towards the beach. Running the French flag. And the timer is running. 2:04, the time to beat from Anjalik Barbier, the slowest time set so far.
"30 seconds to get under 2 minutes. Come on, buddy." Nearly loses it. Very wide here. Okay, last buoy now to go around with 15 seconds to go. Definitely going to be a better lap than his first.
Again,
oh, I said it too soon.
Heel side turns.
It's always the way.
Especially the last turn, you get excited that you've nearly done it, and then unfortunately just drops into the water, gets that foil, gets that motor spinning so he can get some forward momentum. And now a flying finish. Come on, get the foil out of the water. Yeah, again, another resident of Dubai with that French passport, and that is 2:25. So a slower lap time in the end, unfortunately, from Emad. But remember, we will see all these athletes again. This is just a time trial. We will go into an elimination phase, which will give us our quarterfinalists, semi-finalists, and of course our podium and victors in this discipline. Whether that's this afternoon or whether that's tomorrow, we will. I think it's yet to be decided.
Yeah, yet to be decided. It's a little flicker of wind, and the wind's at the right direction now. Typically, we see the wind peak from between 2 and 4, and we're coming up now to around 1:30. By the time we do the next 8 athletes, I would say, that's going to take us upwards of being in the next sort of 20 minutes or so, 20 minutes to 30 minutes. So by then, we should have a call on knowing if we're going to shift over onto the GKA Kite or if we're going to stay on the E4.
We're going kite hydrofoil, aren't we?
Yeah, we're not going to be able to. Well, I very much doubt that freestyle looks like it would take place today.
What's the what sort of wind is your lowest for kite?
we know that Abu Dhabi this week is looking like it's definitely going to be on the lighter side of conditions. So with that taken in, I mean, we do want to try and provide the riders with, the more ideal wind. But I would say around that sort of 12 to 15 knots. 12 knots obviously being real borderline. But if we can get, 14 to 16 knots, that would be amazing.
Next athlete in our e-foil competition, this is Seline Piskina, again with a Dubai license. It almost feels as though the Club of Dubai have brought over a busload of athletes over.
Yeah.
They've all got different passports, so it makes it look international. But again, a little low in the water, and so having to travel quite far. I would say that she's also French. I'm married to a French, but she's Turkish. Thank you to our producer. So she is, I wonder if, so therefore, potentially a relation to our other Turkish athlete. Turkish production team, hence why we are experts in Turkish e-foiling athletes.
Yeah, they're in your ear, not mine.
Oh, I could have pretended that I know. But this is going well for Seline.
It's solid.
On the flight kit, the best female athlete is still Aneska Abramowicz with a 1:47.6.
Yeah, I do know that Agnes Vicanda, the Swedish girl that is actually last to put her time trial in, she's quite handy. So I would expect a quick time there as well.
Yeah, she was fourth, I think,
Yeah.
overall in our last event, which was the first event to have a women's division, a split.
Yeah, she's another rider actually that does a bit of work with Witold themselves. They're based over in Byron Bay.
Keeping the balance, keeping the speed, coming towards the line.
Go on, full throttle here.
Seline Piskina, Turkish Dubai resident, towards the line. Nice and crouched position towards the finish. Nose running clock on her with a 2:11.602. That's a surprise. I thought she was running faster than that. I thought it looked faster than that. And it won't take much for her to get into below the 2-minute mark. Iran's got herself a time on our timing screens, but we know that that's not correct. I don't know what time she's been given, but considering she didn't start, whether we will see her last to go or not. Here comes Seline for her second attempt. Now, she was really aggressive at the end of that lap, but she's not anywhere near as aggressive at the start of this one.
No, you've got to just give it full beans, crossing that start line. That's where the quick time, that's where, start off as you mean to go on.
Stability's good, though. Into the first turn. Ooh. It's backside for her.
Yeah.
Which isn't a lot of fun. She'll find this much more comfortable. But again, a wide carve because she's low in the water, so she can't get the board over at the angle that's really needed. Needs to get on a little bit more of that throttle. Of course, it feels more weird being higher up, surely.
Yeah, it does. You're sort of all of a sudden you're like, whoa, because you're on the water. You sort of had the feeling of that friction against the water with the board, and all of a sudden, it's like you don't hear anything as well. That's the weird thing about it. Sometimes when you're up and foiling, it all just goes quiet.
It's taken her nearly a minute to get to the midpoint of the course, so she could well dip below the 2-minute mark.
It's all possible.
But there isn't really an athlete that would put her in front of Anjalik Barbier. It would put her closer to Julia. Mm. And in terms of women, actually, Julia is still second fastest. So Aneska Abramowicz, the fastest woman. Julia Castro, second fastest from Spain. And perhaps Seline here will slot into third. Right. The problem is she's got 2 more heel side turns to deal with. The middle one is the easy one for her.
This is where it counts. So on the last turn, this is where it can go wrong, as we saw on the previous lap. Very wide.
A lot of respect to the course markers. Down towards the line. Right, get in that crouch position. It was a good finish to lap 1. Could be a good finish to lap 2. Could be under the 2-minute mark. It's going to be a great improvement for her. And the clock stops at 2:02.9. So it is faster than Anjalik Barbier. And she goes into 3rd fastest woman.
Yeah, nice, solid lap there. We've seen pretty much everyone on their second lap bettering their first, which is great to see. You know, it just shows you that first lap, getting comfortable with the course and then putting in solid times on the second. So far, Justin is our leader with a 1:06.610. Then we had Clemens out of Austria with a 1:08. Manel with a 1:09. So tight at the top between the three. And then majority of times fluctuating around that sort of 120 to 135, 140 mark. So a little bit of a gap between, let's say, that 3rd position onwards. But we still do have some quick athletes to take to water.
Next up, the CEO of Manta Foils, Thomas Radij. Thumbs up.
Rocking the cycling helmet as well.
Rocking the downhill helmet as
yeah.
well. Yeah. Confidence he doesn't want to get that wet.
Oh, quick up onto the board as well. Crouch position. And there's speed coming across the start line. Here we go.
Look at the concentration on his face. The balance from that left arm flicking around in the wind. Commits to the first turn. Asking a lot of his Manta foil underneath him. Toe side for the second turn. Loving the socks look.
I was about to say, yeah, the foil socks.
Why are they foil socks?
I don't know. I'm making it up.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Don't do that to me.
No.
I was like, oh, what makes them specifically foil socks?
I could have gone along with that for a couple of days.
Yeah, you can have me on, Liam, at any point for the next 9 days. And just tell me on the 10th day what you've been doing.
Yeah.
It's, answers on a postcard on that one.
Also, rocking boots, though. The booties. Maybe he prefers the feeling, the grip. But putting a good time in so far. We are just shy of a minute, and we're past that halfway point now.
Nice and fast into that first turn, but needs to throttle back for the toe side. He's got a big smile on his face. It looks good through there. I tell you what, it looks great out of our window.
It does, doesn't it?
And now this final turn, again, a lot of respect given to that final course marker. Too much distance traveled towards the line. He's going to be the one that's going to fill that hole, but not on this lap. He is going to be slower than Alexandre and Till. So that goes 22.76. No, he's not. He goes slightly faster than Till. That's 4th fastest for Thomas.
Oh, yeah, get the leg burn.
The crouch.
Yeah, the burning leg, the lactic acid creeping in.
Right, so that's a safe first lap. Surely he can find 4 or 5 seconds on his second lap.
Yeah, you'd think, wouldn't you? I think he's going to go even further out and come in on the straight with even more speed. Okay, here we go. Crouches down, locks in. Plenty of speed. Look how fast he's going out the front. Definitely, we've got the best view in the house, I'd say.
Whistling past our window down towards the first mark. It's heel side for him. So this really, again, that argument between the courses designed for goofy and standard, and for him it's a bit of a disadvantage. A bit wide though on his toe side turn. Better almost on the heel side, and now heads up towards the marker at the back of the course, adjusting his front foot just a little bit, but we haven't seen many athletes. Oh, he goes down! Just losing his grip. Just lost his balance. And that's a real shame.
Good wipeout, though.
Let's have a look again, Liam. What happened here?
You can see he just takes that turn. Oh, I just think, I think just traveling around that turn at a decent speed. A little bit out of control. Didn't look like the nose of the board went in the water or anything. I just maybe think, pushing it a little bit too much and then too much weight going back.
So bails out of the second attempt then and heads back to the beach.
She's happy though. Look.
Yeah, I mean,
loves it. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely loving it.
Big one now coming up. Number 3, Jacob Rainey or Rainey.
Had to wait a long time since we saw Justin, his protege. Sorry, other way around. And this will be a very fast run. Will it be a run that will put him into first, second, or third? We haven't seen Clemens and Justin and Jacob go up against each other this year. Yes, Justin and Jacob, and usually it's to the advantage of Justin, but look how far forward he is. Works in insurance, does Jacob. Recently new job, and so we'll be going back to work on Monday, having left America. Oh, he goes down in the water already. That is a huge surprise.
Yeah, I did not expect that on the first turn.
They literally got in at 3 o'clock this morning. No practice apart from this morning. He's too low in the water, isn't he?
Yep. Tried to save it, but knew it was too late, too gone. Is carrying on with the course though, so we'll put a time together.
No, he's bailed.
Yeah, he bailed on it.
So he's bailed. Somebody on the beach waving at him. I think that is Justin.
I was going to say, I think that is Justin.
Yeah. And now he's going for a second lap then. Needs to complete, so needs to be safe. Otherwise, he could find himself in a very tricky position in the eliminations. Again, pretty low in the water. Needs to go higher to allow himself to carve through this first turn.
Yeah, I could see a relatively...
Still, it's not stable at all, is it?
I could see a relatively safe lap coming in here.
Bobbling around.
Ooh, nice turn.
Underneath him. Getting onto the nose of the board.
Looks at any moment it could just go.
It really does look on the ragged edge, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can see he's moving his feet a little bit, but every time he's doing so, he's sort of wobbling around.
Now it looks like it's starting to settle down. Yeah. Towards the beach he comes. It's going to be a slow lap, though. It's nowhere near as fast as Justin. But it does look like those sort of, maybe those competition nerves have disappeared. How aggressive can he be on the second half of the lap? He really needed to complete that first one to calm him down. Instead, he's having to do this on the second attempt into this first mark. That's good. Now, toe side for the second.
Yep, shifts the weight as well towards that more central on the board. And after this, boy, expect him to move again further forwards when he wants to go and put the pedal to the metal. There you go, moved forwards and crosses that line.
Yeah, look at that. Big gap, 124, something like that, over the line. 123.0. So goes behind Till and behind Thomas. That's going to be 5th or 6th position, I think.
Not bad considering, though, that he had that full.
And does my screen update? No, not quite.
Number 5, Nina. Louise from France. This is the replay, I believe, from the last lap from Jacob. Yeah.
It's just the bubbles, and the bubbles seem to...
Oh, it looks like Jacob's going again here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And we seem to have a time for him as well.
Yeah, it looks like it's legit. No one's calling him off. I think potentially maybe on that first lap there was something that we missed.
No one on the beach seems particularly surprised.
No.
So something...
So it's definitely us.
It's not our problem.
That's the issue sometimes, you know, we're locked into this booth as lovely as it is. But sometimes we can miss a few things that go on down at that beach. But nonetheless, here we go. Jacob has that first time. And this one looks smoother. This one looks better. Nice turn there, toe side turn. Now coming around hillside, keeping it nice and tight. Ooh, nearly towards the end. shifting his weight forward on the board. A lot better here for the time. That's going to put him in a good spot. Probably 4th position on that one.
117.311. Starting to fill that gap then between the front 3 of Justin Schad, Clemens Cresser, and Manel Arpa.
Oh, looks like we've got a remote here that doesn't connect for Nina.
And Nina calling Max down to the beach. Sorry, not Max, Till.
Yeah, the controller not connecting to the board at the moment. He's like, okay, I'll just put it on speed 100. And off you go.
Well, at least the it hasn't quite started yet.
No. Interesting seeing how they're connecting it up. I mean, every board pairs differently, you know, but all of them pair by Bluetooth.
So whilst we wait,
it's in gear now.
She's got it working. Thumbs up, and off she goes. Oh no, hang on. No, it stopped working again. Right, well, it is working. Maybe a little setting that needs to be adjusted. So, again, another of our French athletes from Dubai. And she heads over to our right-hand side. The French lady from Bordeaux, who now lives out here in Abu Dhabi doing hospitality for JL Mena. And I'm saying this is husband and wife rather than brother and sister, but apologise if I've got that wrong. She looks nice and aggressive down towards the
good
first
posture
turn.
there, coming in, a lot of speed, good height. And the first mark now, always one of the more challenging ones, sort of sets the tone for your lap. But still on foil, that's always a good place to be. A little wide coming out of that second one there. Keeps it nice and tight around the third though. Now this is where you want to go on the throttle. You can see now posture slightly changing. Getting that weight forwards.
Not quite as aggressive as the start line, start and finish straight. And definitely looks a bit more in cruise mode. Needs to get more crouched down again. Looks in control.
Yep. In control is one thing, but you're wanting to pair that nicely with the speed. And we're now at the minute mark. And just at that halfway mark now as well. So as it stands en route for roughly around a 2-minute lap. But some chance now to make up some time on the straight. This is where it gets a little bit nimble around these last ones.
At least the hardest turn for me is this one, the second in the sequence of the 3 hairpins. And at least she's on toe side for that one, but it does mean she's got 4 heel sides again for the others.
Didn't go too wide there either.
Is covering a decent amount of ground, but yeah, then not really too aggressive towards the line. So it could well be that she goes fastest woman though. Fastest woman on a 1:47.6. She does a 1:49.5, but on the second lap, she could well be our fastest woman. Chills herself back up the beach to get herself back in position. But the 28-year-old from Bordeaux could well be our fastest woman. At the moment, that is held by Aneska Abramowicz.
Good speed here crossing this line.
Yeah, and looks really good. That's the posture she needs at the end and in the middle as well.
On those 2 straights. There's 4 opportunities to do that. At the start, then on the second straight, the third straight, and then right at the end. But like you said, these are the challenging parts. It's this turn, isn't it?
A little wide on the first turn. That's made it have a bit more direct on the second. She's got to get all the way around here. And she drops it in the water. Stay on the board. She does. Right. Now heel side through the third turn. Now settle down. Head towards the back of the course. Get into that aggressive straight position. Why not? Doesn't seem to want to. And she's given herself a bit of a hard angle here. Almost having to go almost back on herself to come down towards the beach.
Yeah, the next yellow mark, she was at a minute last time, and she's coming pretty much at the same sort of time, if not a little bit slower. So on lap 1 around now, we were at, I would say, the minute mark. So yeah, a few seconds slower than what we saw previously. But that time can be made up, like you said, on the straights.
That looks better. That looks a little bit more comfortable. Now, the line is really important. Rather than covering too much distance, try and be a bit more aggressive on these heel side right-handers. The first one's not too hard because you come in from an obtuse angle. This is a hard one. She's tight to it initially, but goes very, very wide on exit. That's going to make life hard for this final turn. Has to almost double back on herself. Doesn't look too bad now. Right, now aggressive.
Go.
Pedal, finger to the throttle. Towards the line. Better, more aggressive than she was previously. It's not going to be fast enough to take the best female time. And in fact, it's slightly slower than she was on lap 1.
Yeah, it was that second mark, wasn't it, when she went a bit too wide and nearly lost it. That was what cost her a few seconds. Otherwise, I think we would have seen the fastest time in the women's fleet so far.
You've got Justin on the left-hand side, Alexandre in the middle there.
There we are.
And
that booth
Jacob,
on the right.
There's our studio. Almost luxury, our studio. Double-sized with air conditioning. Don't shout too loudly. But any other events that are watching, this is the standard for next year. Right, next female athlete, Natalia Tarosenko. Another husband. There's quite a few husband and wife lineups in this, isn't there?
Yeah, there definitely is. And what have we got here riding the flight boards?
Natalia, 40-year-old from Latvia.
Small board as well. Nice and nimble around those turns. Doesn't go too wide there.
Alexandre's dropped down to 7th now on our leaderboard after those last couple of athletes filling that gap between our top 3.
Yeah, we had a few quick times in the recent laps.
I'm guessing this is sort of a thing they do around the area. Husband and wife, downtime, head to the lagoons, head to the beaches.
Bit of e-foiling, followed by a nice cold sunset beer.
Yeah. Sounds like a good life.
It does, I have to say. Sign me up.
Maybe this should be your winter destination.
Maybe. Nah, you can't take me out of Cape Town, Ben, not just yet.
Female time to beat, Aneska Abramowicz, a 47.690.
So we've got 3 riders left, including Natalia here as well. So we're nearly at the end of our time trials.
Like how cruisy she looks. She's nice and tight to those markers. She's not covering too much ground here, and she does look very relaxed.
Ooh.
Oy.
Nearly said that too soon.
Just weirdly got caught out there.
Okay, so
meant that she had a little bit extra ground to cover. Towards the line she comes.
Could be a good time
This could still be the best female time. Over the line, waiting for it to stop. 1:47.87. It is 0.2 of a second slower than Aneska. So we've got Poland versus Latvia here. And Natalia Tarosenko, if she can get a bit more of an improvement, could find herself at the head of the female fleet. Then there's about a 7-second gap to Dominic Hoskins, who is one of the slower. Well, he's the slowest male that set a time, because we've got a couple of guys at the back who didn't set times.
Okay, so can she find those 0.2 of a second? on lap number 2.
Does she know she needs to as well? Probably not. Nobody would have told her. He's looking out the window. I can see that Alexandre is just in a nice chat with the Americans. He's not really watching particularly. She dips the board into the water. A couple of touchdowns. And that's going to have unsettled her. Now she just needs to get back and find that equilibrium, find that central point. Now that weight moves forward, but she doesn't look as comfortable as she did on the first run.
No.
Board touching down again.
You can see there's just moments, isn't there, on the ride here where it just looks like it could go at any given moment. But on the last lap, this was the sort of section where she felt and got a little more comfortable, and it now looks a little bit smoother through this section of the course anyway.
Couple of happy toe side turns. Nice and wide to the mark. Cuts back and then heads down towards the final couple of hairpins, back towards the beach. There's big billboards in the distance advertising what will this area will become. I still feel as though this could be best female time. She's might not be particularly fast, but she's not covering much distance. This is going to be tight for her on this last turn. She was a bit too close to that mark.
Here we go.
Not too bad, though. And
Go.
now she just needs to go, and she hasn't quite found her equilibrium to head towards the line.
Not on the straight line then, sort of skipping around like a dolphin at the end here. Out and in the water.
Oh, and that has lost her time. It's interesting how many of these athletes are losing time on the second run. She submarines and is a second slower. And so by 0.2 of a second, misses out on the best female time. 2 more athletes to come. And then we will be taking a lunch break. And we will let you know where we will be going after that. Hearing that we are going to see Oran at the end as the last athlete, so we've still got 3 to go.
Oh, Oran is going back out, is she?
That's what I'm hearing.
Oh, the rumours. Are the rumours true?
This is Alexandre Tête, Mr. Head. Another Frenchman, presumably also from Dubai, as they all seem to be. You don't really want to be from actual France. It says as a man who lives in France.
Okay, so here we go, Alexandre. Nice tight turn to start, like that a lot. Let's keep it nice and snappy in here. Really nice second turn as well. Good start here. One of the quicker starts we've seen on more of the recent laps. Taking a nice wide approach here to cut it nice and fine. And goes around the 4th. Coming back around now to what will be those hairpins, which does cause a few niggles now and then. But traveling around with plenty of speed here. Still underneath the minute mark, picking up speed on the straight. 3 more boys to go.
27-year-old TikTok influencer.
Oh, yeah?
2 million followers.
I don't have TikTok.
I don't even know what it is. 150,000 followers on Instagram and fast towards the line. Beautiful posture out of our window. Absolutely bang on. And it's a 1:21.4 for Alexandre.
Yeah, nice.
So that is 5th fastest on lap 1. Best of the French flagged athletes. I think he's genuinely also from France, unlike most of the others.
Well, when we have our break, we can have a little butchers about what sort of content do we reckon?
Well, he's got a YouTube channel as well. Here we go, lap number 2 then. Could be one of the athletes to watch out for here. Jacob is his target. 1:17.3 from Jacob.
A little bit wider than he was on the lap 1 there. Looking at his watch as well. Yeah, he's flying on this straight though. His position as well, a little bit, nearly went there, but keeps it together. His position looks a little bit different with that back foot right at the rear of the board.
But the board's quite a bit shorter than some of the others we've seen.
Yeah, it's that 4-2 again, one of the shorter sizes that we've seen.
But he's making it work for him. Now down towards the final couple of turns. He looks really good, really stable.
Yeah, he's locked in. Okay, so here we go. Hillside turn coming up, the last for Alexandre.
Here we go.
Oh, he's gone wide.
Final turn. Oh, he's given a lot away there. Huge amounts of extra distance covered. Come towards the line. He is going to be slower than Jacob. And he's going to fill the gap for 5th position. It's going to be an improvement on time. A 1:20.79 for him. But that is 5th fastest still. Behind Jacob Rainey, behind Manel Arpa, behind Clemens Cresser, and Justin Chat is still the man at the head of our standings with 2 females left to run.
So here we go. Agnes, been waiting all afternoon to get on the water. Originally was the last rider, but now we know that Iran's going to be back in the mix. So 2 more to go.
Agnes Vicanda from Sweden, 24-year-old. Yes, you. Time to head out, the number 6. Now, she is a different brand to everybody else on a Waydo. Liam looks blankly. Is it not a Waydo?
Oh, yes, no, it is. I'm just having a look at the foil setup there. You can see where the propulsion unit is on sort of the fuselage, similar to how the flight foils look as well. But let's see. I mean, like we've said, she's put a good time in at the other events. I'm expecting a relatively good time here and a potential battle for first on the women's. But let's see. Let's not put any pressure on her. Okay, so coming in for the start now. Green flag is up.
So we were expecting this to be the fastest female time. History suggests in her successes in Dubai over the last couple of years.
Oh, she's starting quick.
She comes across the line and she is rapido down towards the first mark. There's a quick look at her controller and adjusts her feet. But look at this. Oh, touchdown at the first mark.
I think that catches a lot of people off, you know. They're going so fast. Yeah. Actually, when they get to the first mark, they're like, whoa. It's not like you can put the brakes on either. You haven't got a trigger for your brakes. You just have to completely come off.
And just hope it slows down.
And just hope that, yeah. But then you end up sort of gliding. And then it's a little bit of a weird feeling because you've got the drag from the propulsion, you know, the fixed prop. And quite often you can find yourself going flying over the front of the board if you just take your trigger off the hand of the trigger. Yeah.
So it doesn't rotate in the water.
No, it will just completely stop. Wow. But maybe it rotates a little bit from the water itself.
Yeah,
but
movement,
you want to sort of gradually come off power, then just completely shut it off, unless you have a folding prop.
Yeah.
Which would give you a bit of a nicer, let's say, feeling.
Oh, again, touchdown with the rail of the board there. Living dangerously.
Definitely. But keeping it together.
Don't know whether she needs to. Maybe she's targeting the men.
Yeah, she's after you, Justin.
Yeah. Nice turn there, nice and tight to the mark, and she's able to carve a tight line around these final couple of turns. Now heads up towards the line. She's gone a little bit wide there on the final turn, but she is so fast when she comes towards the finishing line. We haven't got a running clock on her, but I can tell you that the time is a 1:27.7, and that is 20 seconds faster than the best female, and it puts her up into 8th overall. That is mega.
Good time. And it was lap number 1, so we've got another one coming our way. See if she can push to more of that 120 mark, try and save herself a handful of seconds. Because that would be, I mean, what have we got here? 4th place is a 1:17.
Yeah, I mean, that's within reach, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I would say a fifth and 6th place based off that first time is most definitely in reach.
Let's not forget Alexandre Tet's slotted in there as well.
Here we go, crossing the line now, lap number 2.
In that crouch position, down towards turn 1. We'll remember the experience of the first turn, but that's beautiful.
There we go.
Look how little gap there was between the marker and her. Little bit less good through the second turn. Too wide there, gave up too much ground, covered too many meters. Again on that heel side, but she heads now down towards the back of the course. It'll be another toe side turn. She's happy to do that nice and tight through there. Flying high in the water. Down towards the beach. The vibe's starting to build down here.
Yeah, the music's gotten a little bit louder.
Yeah.
We opened the event site at 1 o'clock here, so we're an hour into opening for the public now. So I'm sure that the vibe is, like you said, starting to get ready for the afternoon's action and also our opening ceremony beginning in a few hours' time.
Right then. One last heel side. She was nice through here last time. The feet have just slightly changed position. She's good through there. Now try not to give away too much ground through this last time. No sign of the mark on our cameras, so she has gone wide. And she comes towards the line now. Time to beat a 1:27.7 that she managed last time. And what has she done? Where is her time? A 1:26.8.
Yep.
So a second found, but it doesn't improve her position. She stays in 8th spot. It's actually 9th spot, isn't it? Because Alexandre Tet's in there. And that is a pretty strong performance from Agnes Vicanda, but there's a strong field at the front.
Oh, look, Iran's foiling. We're up now.
And
she's been at the back practicing.
That's amazing, isn't it? 1 hour of competition. She comes across past the judges and gives them a wave as she starts her first lap. Right then, no pressure on the competition.
No, she's out there to have fun.
Just drops the rail into the water on that first turn. That'll unsettle her, but she's done okay. Needs to get a bit more rotation because she's heading off in a completely different direction here. Okay, managed to do it.
Whoa.
Oh dear.
There
There's
Stoker's reel.
Agnes. And I'm afraid Iran is swimming.
She's still got to go around that mark, though.
Is she going to go around the mark? I mean, every second would be appreciated. Just losing balance here. And that is the kind of thing that happens to you a lot when you first try foiling.
Yeah. Looks like now she's coming back in. She's abandoned that lap anyway. Maybe goes for another one.
Oh, yeah. Got a second chance.
Yeah, she's going back in.
Right then. One last chance for Anne Ceris from Frijol in France.
Ooh, she's going to be going a bit too wide for the start here.
Not in the.
I wonder how much foiling she's done since, you know, having the baby and everything. But here we go.
Here we go then, down towards the first mark.
Go on.
A little bit of experience of the course. Gets that left arm up to try and rotate the board. Does that pretty well, actually. Now the toe side should be easier for her, but she's giving it a wide berth. You could fit a bus between her and the mark.
But she's going to come around nicely for the third.
Yeah, she's setting herself up nicely for the third.
Yeah.
Possibly a little bit more turning than she needed, but anyway, now she can sprint up towards the mark at the back of the course. Looks over her shoulder, of course. As soon as you start doing that, start turning the board.
Yeah.
It's not ideal. But now, touchdown. Doesn't quite get the rotation. So giving another wide berth there. Towards the beach she comes. Let's not forget how decorated this female athlete is in the world of foiling. But we are watching her first steps, I think, on an e-foil. And she's 2 months since giving birth. And that's pretty awesome as well.
So no time at the moment I can see. But this is now a halfway point. Going over that straight. Yeah, definitely.
Settling down a bit, isn't it? Now, I think she was pointing in the wrong direction for a second there.
That's what foiling's about, though. Once you get the feeling and you feel comfortable when you're sort of flying, let's say, it all starts to click. One of the big main differences that we see with like e-foils is that the foil, like the mast, is actually inserted to a fixed point, which isn't something that you get when you're like on the e-foil boards or your prone boards or even like your kite foil boards. You can mix and move the mast around on the base of the board a little bit. But on the e-foils, it's like a fixed position. There's a lot more, obviously, to it with the electronics and things like that. But
big smile from Arensa. She comes towards the line, and she has completed a full lap of the course without a swim.
Yeah.
And she has a great celebration. That's so lovely to see. The time on the board is, well, it's showing as a 1:40, but that's because there was a slight error in her time in the first. So I can't give you a time as to what that particular lap was. It's not going to challenge the head of the field. There's no doubt about that.
No.
But wonderful to have such a celebrated athlete with us and getting her intentions for the week well known. And it's a good bit of training as well to get that balance back for when she is in a discipline that's more familiar to her. So that is the end of our time trial competition, and let's take a look at those two fastest men's runs once more. A 1:06.61 was the fastest time from Justin Schaap. And this is not him.
Nope. This is just looks like our general highlights. Justin Chay with the 1:06 was riding the blue flight board.
Yeah, this is the third fastest. No, it's not even the third fastest. This is the 8th fastest man, Renaud Barbier. Yes, because he had the GoPro attached to his helmet, didn't he?
Yeah.
With wife Anjalik here and son Baptiste, the slowest athlete, but only because he didn't complete laps. That time held on for a long time in third position.
It did, didn't it? It was a while until we saw it all fluctuate around the top. But when that time came in from Justin, you know, it was we knew that it was going to be a tough one to beat.
In the end, dropping down to 10th position. Well, actually, slower than our best women. We've got free foiling being played by the live band.
Is that what it is?
I don't know if you can hear. You probably can't hear it because we're on something else. But there's I think it's free falling. But because we're commentating on foiling, my brain instantly is changing it to free foiling. And why not? Change the full lyrics. Makes much more sense. So, this looks like a female racer. I think this is Aneska Abramowicz, and she is our second fastest female. And
Going wide there.
well, didn't she just go round the wrong way of the first mark?
Yeah, interesting.
I don't know even if that's a. I don't even know that if that was an attempt at a run, because
no.
she didn't go round the first buoy on the right way round. So it's almost like this was her practice.
But the next stage now in the E4 is, we are going to go, and we have to wait now because the time trials are done. So it's all about them doing the elimination and the seeding now for the head-to-head. So we are going to shortly, once we've recapped on the highlights, see how we're going to be moving forward on those elimination head-to-head ladders.
Yeah, so we are having a break, and make sure you join us at 2:30 local time. So hang on, that is 15 minutes from now. So our 45-minute gap has disappeared. We'll run a commercial break and join us in about 25 minutes.